All right. Last time, the party completed their contract with the Slayers Guild and have become official members of the guild. They did some looking around into the strange elf that they saw at the Hungry Mammoth rather. And they also encountered a visitor from the Living Tree Forest that came seeking aid from the city of King's Harbor. And we ended last time with Raylog having some sort of episode being on his back and the party looking down at him as he comes to. Um, so that is going to be where we pick up. Is Raylog, you are on the ground after experiencing this vision or a memory or something along those lines about having this conversation with your father and being high up in the mountains looking down at this large forest several days from the foot of the mountain, and you come to on the ground with your friends, your party members staring down at you.
Well, hey guys.
So everyone or just certain people?
You tell me.
Who
Who's all looking at
I was
you?
looking over you like you might have need mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Oh,
Then I'm just over there going, anybody home?
I was going to say, I saved you, little buddy.
well, hello everyone. You seem to be doing stuff like this a lot frequently. What's going on?
As long as I've known you, you've been doing it.
Yeah?
Passing out is kind of your thing.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
think you need to see a doctor.
At least you didn't descend from a great height this time.
This
You're on ground right here. You are on solid ground the whole time. You were out. No falling and falling and falling and falling and poof.
Oh, that's my nightmare.
Well,
When I step off the table.
I don't think you.
No,
I don't think you
the
told us
whole
about
thing
that.
that Toravine experienced in his mind, I don't think he went
We
through
never
that
had
whole
time,
entire-
and people didn't take the time to ask me, so it never divulged.
I thought we
Mhm.
had talked about that.
I don't think we really had a reason to ask.
Okay, well, you.
Other than the fact that he just handed
Hey,
over.
yeah,
the
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, that's a big reason to ask, but no one did.
Call it intuition.
Just
Gothra,
a giving person.
helps you kind of sit up and is like, what's going on? I know you've had pains in your head before, but nothing like this. You've never fainted or fallen over or had anything this intense.
Did I understand what triggered?
Well, first you had a flash whenever this visitor mentioned about the Living Tree Forest, and you had a quick searing pain in your head, and then there was a flash of being high up, most likely in the mountains,
Mhm.
having a high up bird's eye view of a large forest with a giant tree growing out of the center of it. And then as the conversation went on, she mentioned the part of the mountain and the great tree. And it was at that point where you had a, you want me just to go over that whole thing? I can go over that.
Well,
whole
I had some notes on it. Because like
Well, you went to your knee in pain when we went towards Whetstone, and you saw the banner that was with the.
It
Assassin's
basically
Guild.
you had your head, as I described it, like lurched to the point where it was like you had an intense migraine, and then it seemed like it was getting worse and worse, and that feeling and that pain intensified to the point where you thought that your head was just gonna to burst, and
Like
then
an
all of a
aneurysm.
sudden it was gone, and you felt a breeze on your face like you were somewhere else. And when you opened your eyes, you were back home, and you had that conversation with your father, and then
Isn't he near the great tree when this is happening?
He
Right,
is
that's-
He's overlooking
sitting
down
at
on the
a
woods.
viewpoint
I know.
at his village,
Yeah.
overlooking the vast landscape below, and seeing at the end I mentioned that he saw the forest with a large tree that he could look out towards the ocean.
The landscape is the foot of the mountains. So he was still in the mountains, looking down out of the mountains.
Yes.
Looking.
And the conversation, basically, a brief overview of it was that this is a view that anyone in the village can look at any time that they want, but so few stop to look at it. And it's a beautiful view, and the only reason they have it is because of the peace that they have at that time. And he mentioned that Raylog would be the one to take up the mantle of chief one day, and it would be his decision on whether to keep that peace or to break it, and whether that view would be there if he broke it, and how it would change what he is viewing now.
Okay.
And he would know that would be a past conversation. That's not future.
So
Right. But basically, I understand. Like the mention of the living tree forest triggered my migraine, and then as she kind of talked about it a little more, then the pain went away. But then I kind of had the vision.
yes,
Is what
it
you're
was the
recall.
mention of the heart of the mountain and the great tree that led to you having that worse intensified episode, I guess you could say.
I would think there would more be of a recall than a vision. A vision is usually something that is
Completely.
future.
Yeah, I usually
Right.
say like
Yeah.
a flashback or something
Yeah,
like that.
that's more what it is. So it's not imagination or.
Because a lot of
future.
what you're dealing with these visions or flashes or memories of bits and pieces, because your memory of some of your past is very fragmented.
Right.
So Dothra, as I said, helps you up and then asks you, what happened? Like I know that you have occasional pains and things like that,
Mhm.
but nothing this intense. Like you've never passed out before or blacked out. What happened?
Well, I heard the mention of the heart of the forest and the great tree, and I started having these migraines, these pains, and then they went away, and then it was like I was back there seeing the living forest from above on the mountain, and I remembered the time where our dad was there, and
You saw father.
yeah, it was something that from a while ago, like we had this conversation. He was letting me know that at some point that I'm going to be the chief of our tribe, and that it's currently in a peaceful state with what he has done, and that I, as the leader, have the choice of keeping that peace with our village and the surrounding villages, or breaking that and causing tension and leading to a bunch of violence in our home area. And at that point, so he basically was that memory of him asking, or like letting me know that, and then kind of asking me how I feel that I would lead the village, and then after that, then woke up and everybody was around me.
Why? What does? I don't understand why that would bring something like this about. I mean, it's it's not there anymore. It's gone. You and I both know that. Why would you be having?
I don't know. That's all. It just know that that triggered the memory. I know why.
Okay.
The Twizzlers
I
having
know I'm not part of the
spasms.
family, but it does seem like if you had previous pains, maybe you had previous remembrances that were feeling just as painful as the physical pain that you had. What other fragments of memory has come to your mind, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, it's most of the other things recently were of the day that we left our village. It's just fragments. It's kind of hard to piece it together, but it's remembering it being on fire and
What was on fire?
our whole village, the the buildings and everything. Like it was just being destroyed, and like just remembering bits and pieces of that. Like it's all very fuzzy and hard to kind of piece together as to what happened and why what all was going on. I just mostly remember that we fled and we tried to regroup with a group of people and try and go back into the village, and we struggled defeating what what was doing that to our village. And
So, what caused the fire? Was it like someone's fireplace blew up and other houses caught on fire and it raged so hard that you couldn't control the fire?
no, it seemed um, like someone who didn't like us or something came and just was trying to destroy our village. And
One person came and did that?
no, it seemed like a group, like I think it was like orcs, maybe trolls or something, were coming through and like destroying our village for like no apparent reason. We don't know why it was
So
going
you
on.
saw them.
Yes, we like I don't
Point of
I don't know.
clarification. He was there in experiences, and the experience that he has, and his memories of it, are from you had the flash of a memory whenever you had got to Whetstone and you saw the symbol on the outside of the from the Crimson Blade.
Okay.
And then you also had the flash of when you saw that mysterious figure that faced off with you guys in the courtyard that Torvine gave the rings to.
Right.
I think there was one other time that you had a vision before that, but it was like in the middle of the night or something like that.
Right.
Essentially, to link pieces together, um, the first one that you had was basically just about waking up in the middle of the night and hearing screams and sound of conflict outside your home, and you went to go outside to investigate, and that's kind of where it ended. Was you seeing that there was fires outside, but that was
Right.
pretty much the extent of it.
So you're saying I just know that the town was on fire.
Yes.
I didn't know
And then
what
the
caused it or
the
what was
second
going on.
episode that you had, or flash that you had, was when you saw the symbol outside of Whetstone, and you remember seeing a individual or something running whenever part of that vision kind of that you had before, when you were looking out a window and you saw the village on fire, and you saw an individual pass by light that showed a symbol on their armor that resembled that Crimson Blade symbol. And then later on, when you faced off against that individual in the courtyard, you saw his robe, and then you got more of getting downstairs, finding a individual dressed just like him at about his height, along with a hulking figure, and your father on his knees outside your home, and there being kind of a conversation there, and then the hulking figure taking your father's head. And then that was the end of it. And that's essentially what you've had up till now,
Okay.
up until what you've just experienced moments ago.
Right, which it doesn't even have anything to do with the destruction.
No.
Not really.
This seemed to be beforehand.
I do remember in early descriptions that he saw figures running through, chasing people.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was part of the last one with the guy with the robe and whatnot.
Yeah.
You saw figures that had fur on them and things like that, which makes you believe or leads you to believe that there was orcs involved or something similar, which you had already faced off against a wolf hybrid man at the same time, so it could have been something like that too, but it was just
Right.
quick flashes of humanoid creatures chasing after village folk that you knew or would know, and they had fur, like lots of fur. So whether it was an orc or something similar to what you faced in with Maxold, you're not entirely sure, but you've always assumed that it was orcs that was there that
Right.
night.
That's all I knew.
And there, at the same time, were big figures as well along with that, that you would have, what's the right word? Assumed that they were trolls or something just by the make of them and how
that's
they
what I
looked.
know to be that
Yes.
big.
Were they big and furry?
Didn't look to be furry. It looked just like regular skin or something to that effect. But it would have resembled that.
But they were shadowy, so we didn't see like colors.
No.
Yeah,
No.
this was that.
And you didn't see big pointy ears or anything exaggerated, but from his knowledge of things that would be in this area or something that would be able to stand up against someone from his village or whatever, it would have to be a troll or something similar to it.
Strong. And they didn't have wings.
No, they didn't have wings. So
Unless they took them off and sat them somewhere. But yeah, I didn't see any.
Accessorizing.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
but that's what you've had so far for linking bits and pieces, fragments of what you remember
Of
from
your
that night.
past.
Because you remember some things from your past, like, little things about, growing up with your sister and things like that. But as it gets closer to that fateful night, everything just kind of fragments into bits and pieces. And you can remember, the village being on fire and that, you and your sister, got away safely, and you're not sure if anybody else survived or not because you guys escaped. But that's pretty much it, other than your arrival to Morningdale before you met the rest of your friends and kind of that trek. But everything else is kind of fragmented, other than what you've had since we started. So.
Well, Raylog, after hearing all those little pieces of information that has elapsed over time, it does seem like you need to face whatever is causing this pain, so that way you can conquer it. And it sounds like it's back in your home, whatever's left of it. Though it sounds like, from what the warden has said, that there's turmoil beyond what you even experienced going on in your home.
At this point, Galandra's, she's not too far from you guys. So as you fell over, she continued her conversation. But now that everybody's kind of gathered around you, she comes up. Is everything okay with your friend here?
No, it is not.
Is there
Not
something,
okay.
perhaps, does he need healing or something like that? Perhaps I can help?
A sort of healing, may not be physical. It does seem like his past keeps coming back to want a healing of the land. And it seems like you coming here is sort of part of the puzzle. You seem to need healing of your land from a close geographical area where he comes from, and he needs a healing of his land. It sounds like you both are on the same journey.
And you said you were from the Great Mountains. Where in the Great Mountains are you from?
Like the
He told
like
when.
I guess can I give a what's the is she looking for like a town?
Or village name?
Because you look like one of the village people.
Because there are multiple. Well, there are multiple villages within the Great Mountains, but she's more prying into trying to figure out the specific village of where they're from.
Yours might be more.
She's trying to piece together kind of like, okay, they're Vigons and what you and I talked about earlier, and then she's trying to piece things together.
The village of Hartmount in the Great Mountains.
You two, you two related? And she looks at you and Dalma.
Yes,
I mean,
Related how?
we're siblings.
Like cousins?
No, siblings, brother and sister.
three
Brother and
times
sister?
removed on my mother's side.
You two are the two that escaped that night from Heartmount.
Yes.
We didn't think anyone survived that night. We heard about what happened, but we were told that the village was destroyed. But now, with what's happening with the heart of the mountain coming after the Living Tree Forest, we couldn't really explain it. But if you survived, perhaps others have survived. But that doesn't make any sense. Something else is going on here, and we need to get to the bottom of it. But before we get to the bottom of it, we need help because we're unfortunately not saying that your group does not know how to, fend for yourselves or know how to fight, but me and your group would not be enough. We need more help. Who? She kind of like looks you over and then sees sees the wound on the back of your head. And she kind of goes up and says, "May I?" She kind of like motions towards the wound on your head.
Sure.
She goes
I
up
guess we'll go
and
ahead.
well, you're already like sitting
okay.
up and
I'm not
whatnot.
standing
You're
up,
still
okay.
unless you got up. I don't. That's up to you and whether you.
Where
got
is
up
most
or-
comfortable after your ordeal?
Um.
You feel drained or not?
Yeah, like your
Yeah,
your
like if
head
I-
is still recovering from that because, as I said, it got to the point where it was like a migraine, and then you felt your pulse in your head that
Okay.
like
Right.
in your head, and then it just intensified to the point where you thought your head was just gonna explode. So it's kind of
Wishing for death.
it's kind of calming down now.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the process of. So that's up to you on whether you wanted to try to get to your feet or not.
No, like if
I'm not catching.
like am I dizzy or anything?
Ah!
Going to the ground.
Her feet just. All right. She goes up and places a hand on your head where the wound is, and closes her eyes.
I get a little closer and I want to stare at what she's doing.
Okay.
I'm gawking.
You see a slight hint of a coloration show up where her hands are on his head, and you see like a slight green hue kind of show up as she's touching his head. And you can see she's kind of calmed her breathing a little bit, and she's focusing, and it's just a couple of moments, and then she takes her hand off. Oh my. That changes things.
And worse now.
Okay.
So much worse.
Does his head look the same?
Yes,
It
it
couldn't
looks
possibly be worse.
looks the
Menace.
same.
Okay.
Although I will say this, you guys have seen like the wound on his head and how kind of there's that central part of impact, and then there's kind of these, I don't want to say like branch offs of like where the scar kind of goes, and it goes off into various different directions. But you can see like you guys haven't been in a battle, at least like recent,
Just an acid
but
wash.
that wound on his head has almost like a bruise mark there right now,
Mhm.
like almost like somebody just freshly like walloped him one on the head.
But from the inside.
Yes.
And was that before she did anything or after?
Well,
she
they're
did
noticing this now that like after you were laying down, and your sister's more familiar with that head wound,
She's
so she
taller.
would have noticed it. But it was that way even before Galandra went up and did her little thing. Just it seemed to have something seemed to have happened there whenever you fell back, and there was this episode that you had.
Okay.
But Galandra says, "All right, well, I still need to seek out help. I need to speak to either whoever's in charge of the city. I need to speak to the council or
Excuse me, go on. What did you just do to our friend?
I needed to check something. If
And
he is who he says he is,
you saw what?
who he says he is has been confirmed. That he is who he is from, where he says he's from, and he is who he says.
So
he
you
is.
were verifying in your own way that he was truthful.
Yes.
Okay.
So she ends up after that conversation with Torvine, kind of starts meandering her way towards where she is assuming the rest of the city is. You leaving?
Soon.
Soon and very soon.
Pastor and I had to beat the Solstices in a game of
4-0. You're playing against a child.
John Mark.
Yeah.
He's
Was
All
Grace
right.
playing?
yeah, she actually did pretty good.
So she
She's
starts.
trained or she gets beat.
She starts heading towards the heart or towards the outskirts of the guild grounds. Are you guys following or?
Like this.
What direction does she go? Towards
She's heading towards like where you guys came from, so
the doorway.
towards the end of the. She's heading out of the grounds.
To the main door.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I didn't want her like going through.
I mean,
a
she
wall or
hasn't
something.
gone through because where the tree is.
Yeah.
There's the tree, and then there's this big open like half circle area that's all cleared off, and then there's the rest of the forest in that part
Yeah.
of the grounds. So she hasn't even got to the forest part yet. She's just starting to make her way.
Okay. Refresh my memory. She's going towards what direction? She was looking for the council.
The city council or whoever's in charge of the city.
Okay. It would be the city council because you're not gonna see the head guy,
See the Duke.
the Duke.
Yeah.
The
Not
Duke of
gonna see
Earl,
the head
yes.
guy.
But she is heading that way. So where are you guys following, or are you?
That was meant.
Like, are we?
Okay, Stan
Are we
pays my
expecting
mortgage
to stay with her?
or I
or-
pay it. Ready?
You'll have to repent after this. That's all I gotta say.
Man, if it were that easy, I might get lucky every once in a
He
while.
did not say
Woo!
Feels that easy. I don't want to hear my name.
So would you be lucky or would he be unlucky?
Yeah.
That's on the roll. Like I said, there's repentance going
That's
on.
kinda like, hands I win, tails you lose. Let's see what I got.
Okay, Bugs Bunny.
Everybody
Yeah.
Duck season.
So what are you guys doing? You following or?
She seems to be connected to helping our friend Raylog possibly with his lingering problem and also some closure and she came a long ways, and it sounds like she's possibly able to help us. So yeah, I would follow.
Okay. Just Dorvine or the rest of you following along?
We're gonna go.
All right, so you guys make your way following her. Are you gonna catching up to her, or are you gonna give her
Yeah, I'm
some,
gonna catch up.
some room?
I don't want leeway. I don't want to lose this lady.
Okay.
No,
Um,
I will go too, though I don't know the way.
you guys will follow her, and she eventually comes to the point where the road goes around where the manor is, and the road kind of goes around the back of the manor and then goes out towards the front where the gate is. So you guys finally get to the road and continue. She follows the road on out. As you pass the house, are you guys going to be looking around at all?
Yes,
Or?
I want to see if the leader of the Slayers Guild is at his window and stuff,
Okay.
looking down.
Go ahead and make a check. Awareness check.
Roundabout.
Awareness.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was not.
Got him!
All right.
Wrong button.
I need a
Can you make this game?
tens. Yeah, but people wear me down over time. 2%.
Okay. Yeah. He is at the window, peering out as you all walk by. As you guys are walking, everybody else that was there for the introduction and whatnot is following you, but giving you a good 30 feet or so from her. And as you guys get your way back to the manor, everybody kind of splits off and goes to do their own thing.
Chaff.
She continues on out and gets to the outside of the gate and stops after the gate is opened, and she goes through and looks around. Well, this looks
She's trying to recall.
very different from the last time that I was here.
Do you have a time frame when the last time you feel you were here?
Probably before your time. It would have been hundreds of years ago. Well, last time I was here, this city was, well, that tree was not even inside the limits of the city.
But the tree
So
was
the
here.
fact, oh yes, the tree was
You know the tree well?
here. Yes, I know the tree of the tree well enough. I guess you could say yes,
How well?
very well.
That's pretty well.
As I've said, I've been here before.
But-
I wouldn't have been able to get here as the way that I did if I was not familiar with the tree.
So there's other parts possibly you're familiar with, just they look more foreign.
Well, all of this that I'm seeing so far is foreign because, as I said, that tree was outside of the city last time I was here.
So you're saying the Slayers Guild was not here?
Correct. I don't even know this Slayers Guild that you speak of.
This is a special group that tries to help people when stronger power is trying to hurt people that we try to fix. So that way people
Well, they
may
were
be
very
safe.
uninviting besides your group.
Well, you see, the problem with any group, there are those who get pompous.
Yes, that is true.
Though they are appreciated for their duties, they themselves could be almost as ornery as a creature that they have gotten rid of.
I can't say that I blame some form of caution as well. I mean, I'm sure they weren't expecting today for a unexpected visitor to just show up out of a tree. But
No, but it must have been cool to see. We didn't get a chance to see that. We heard a thunderous noise that drew us to this direction. But the way you're describing your entrance sounded very grand.
it's it's different. But it's not uncommon either, at least from where I come from and those from where I am from. It's not uncommon.
Well, for here, it
this
sounds pretty
way
awesome.
of
Yeah.
transportation. But do you all perhaps know where I should be heading to
I'm looking for my mall map right now.
see the council, or where I might be able to talk to them?
I think we have an idea. It's on the north side of town.
Wait, do we actually do this?
Do we?
Here's Kings Harbor, but I don't have a breakdown of where everything is. This is Kings Harbor. And we're over here. So we know to go to the temple, and then from there they could guide us.
That would be a good place to start, perhaps. And we could ask at the temple, see if someone that is from the city could possibly tell me where
You
we
could
need to
probably
go.
verify the temple was here when you were here.
Well, I'm sure if the city has changed this much, I'm sure the temple has changed as well. Where is the temple, if I might ask?
It's central. It's east of here.
At that, she just starts walking towards like where she thinks the center of the city is.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have an idea also where we've been there a couple times, so we know how to
Okay.
get there. So we will be able to adjust it. I think the street would help us better in that direction, though you are in the right direction, but this would be a little more direct.
Eventually, you guys
Director.
Eventually, you guys do get to the temple. And
She looking
you
for the
walk in,
legislative building?
and there is now. I gotta pull up the
Yeah, the secretary lady's there.
yeah.
Hey, yo,
But
home
they have a
girl.
rotating. They have a rotating.
Oh, so we might not even know Patsy Cline there. Okay.
I think Bren was one of the names that I gave you. Guys, where's my folder?
I know. I have to start putting some of this stuff on 3x5 cards.
This is a major temple, so they got quite a few people. Ingrid, that's the one I'm looking for.
Oh, she's the one with the blonde hair that's braided.
Red, frizzy hair.
Oh, red.
Dwarf. Female dwarf.
She's the one Kimberly's thinking. The female dwarf. Ingrid.
Grin.
Oh, just Grin.
Ingryn.
Ingryn.
Ingryn. Ingryn.
N-G-R-Y-N.
Yep. She is the one that is at the welcome desk.
At the moment.
Yes. Ah, yes. And what can I help you folks with today? And you have a new face with you.
A distinguished
I've never-
guest.
And what is your name? She kind of looks the dwarf up and down and is like, Galandra. Well, I can't say that a name rings a bell, but welcome to the temple at King's Harbor. If there's anything you need, just let me know. Rest of you, is there something I can help you with? Now, you've been here before.
Yes, we're looking for Galandra's direction. She would like to talk to the city's council on a very important matter.
Oh, there's something serious, I would assume, if it's the city
Yes.
council that you're wishing to
Yes.
speak to.
Yes.
Well, that would be over in the city hall if you're wishing to speak to them, but
I'm sure they're booked.
I'm not sure that all of the members of the council would be there right now. But
I don't
can
think it
summon
matters
them.
how many are there.
We can summon them for an emergency meeting if need be.
What direction's the city hall?
The city hall is like right across the street.
Oh, the big building.
Yeah, it's that big
Legislative
parliament
This one here.
looking building.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, good. I guess that's a very good shot in the dark that we did.
But we will send word if you want to head over to the city hall, and we will send word to have the council convene, and they will meet with you if they are available today.
Oh, on the double, I appreciate that. That would be very grateful. of
Just
that.
so I can relay the messages to the council members, I want to make sure that this is a point of emergency before I just ask them to drop what they are doing and to come in for a meeting. Perhaps, if I may
You want to know the topic?
inquire of
The
what
topic,
the
the
problem
emergency.
is, or the emergency, or the subject of.
It is a diplomatic issue with regards to a conflict of societies fighting to see about support of a side that would like to try to stop the confrontation from continuing.
Um, and so at this point, Galandra kind of reaches back into a pouch and pulls out and goes like that and puts something on the desk.
Money, 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 money.
And pulls her hand away, and you see a medallion-sized coin. And I say medallion, it's this
4 inches.
size,
Yeah.
And it has an insignia on it, which you guys would recognize is a crown with a ship on water, like in the middle of the crown, which is the symbol for King's Harbor, which you guys have
Correct.
seen on the guards and things like that
Yeah,
around the
okay.
city. She places that on the table. Nina kind of takes a look at it and then looks at her and looks at the coin and picks it up, looks at it. I will convene the city council. And she gets up and goes and talks to somebody, and that individual comes over to the desk, and you guys, or she walks away, and you guys are left there at the desk. Landra kind of, okay, well, I guess we're going to the city hall then.
Let us get the ball rolling.
So she ends up heading out of the temple.
Do you enjoy berries from time to time?
No, I enjoy all of nature's bounty.
You have been through a lot of turmoil and traveling, and I know we're going just across the road, but I would like to share with you a berry of nourishment that's been blessed by the Creator. It does wonders for one's countenance.
Well, certainly.
That's why I reached down
Collagen
in my bag. Actually, I think I'll take one myself.
And she reaches a hand out, takes it, and pops it into her mouth.
Mhm.
Oh, yes. Nothing like a good.
It is a good berry.
That's radioactive.
Plagiarism.
Play on words. She heads off across the street and goes into City Hall. You guys, the Vigons, you guys have been here before. However, the rest of you have not.
Yeah, you guys are
Big,
awesome.
sprawling building with multiple floors. There is as you walk in, it's just a big open lobby with kind of a central desk that has kind of a pillar that goes up through the center, and it's a big vaulted ceiling, or I should say like a dome ceiling in the middle. And it's just like it does have a square kind of esque to the building, but there's definitely from the inside definitely looks more
Curved.
like a
Okay.
curved
Yep.
circular architecture.
Romanesque.
But there's this big desk with multiple individuals there talking to different people coming in that have appointments to talk to different officials and
Trying to look
people
important.
like that. But there is, as you guys wait there is people coming in now. Just looks like an ordinary day. You guys, I'll say a good you guys feel like time's just crawling at this point, but
Mhm.
it's a good 2.5, 3 hours before someone comes and eventually comes to your group and says, I was told that a group resembling yourselves are going to be meeting with the city council. Am I correct to assume that that is you guys, or?
Oh yes, and I'm doing a walking handstand, practicing my dexterous things. Yes.
Okay. All right.
The things he does.
Well, the council
I'm a
council
twig contortionist.
is ready for you. If I'll take you up there if you are ready.
Willow. Oh, we're ready.
So he ends up leading you guys up to the very top floor, and you guys walk into a room similar to, but much more grand than the
Even grander.
setup that was there at Morningdale. How there's the seats that are up there at the top on like a ledge, with different chairs, and you guys are kind of down here on a lower part, and you have the doors open, and you have a set of steps that kind of come up to a small landing and then go up onto the large landing where you guys end up standing, and then there's that shelf where the chairs are. And there are a total of, once I get the page flipped here, a total of 5 seats. And there is one in the center that definitely is taller and has more of an ornateness to it. It looks more prestigious. And then there's 4, 2 on each side that surround it. Nobody's sitting there at this point when you guys walk in.
Wow, they look pretty comfy up there.
But
So spacious.
the guard leads you up and leads you to the center of the floor and says they will be with you momentarily.
Which
And
moment?
he ends
Yeah,
up, and
there's different versions of moments.
he ends up
Just a 2-hour
walking
time.
away.
Yes, it
I was
sounds
like,
about.
are you trying to see if I can keep track of what I'm saying by interrupting me all the time?
Sometimes I wonder.
Participating in the story, we're excited. You should be happy.
Just go with the moment.
Galandra kind of stands there, and you can see she's like, like I don't want to say fidgety, but it's definitely like, okay,
She's pensive.
let's get this going. Like
Yeah.
I need to,
I have things to do, and this was none on my list to do.
First individual that
Agree.
walks in is a familiar face.
The rest of him is unfamiliar.
Zathras,
The face is
Oh.
familiar.
the head of the Slayers Guild,
Thus
comes in
I thought Ginger
and
Punk
sits,
would be
sits down in one of the chairs.
one of the chairs. Oh, good.
Not the middle.
Not the window.
Not the
Okay, all
He
right.
doesn't
He
take up
brushed it
much.
a little bit, though.
He doesn't take up more than one
Look, he's
chair.
sizing it up.
One of these
Marjorie,
days.
Marjorie.
And he's on the left side. On the right side, an
Oh, good.
individual
He's not
walks
even on
in.
the side.
A plump-looking male dwarf with long but nicely trimmed and braided black beard that comes down and joins in the middle of kind of where his navel is.
So he looks more like a dignitary.
If you can imagine Bomber from the
Yeah.
Hobbit movie, except without red hair, it's red, but his
But
hair
trim
on
nicely.
top is very much, combed and looks very nice, but the beard-esque part is very similar. Very bushy black eyebrows and a hairline that kind of goes up and around the ears from where the beard is. It goes up and then meets in the back,
Mhm.
but is very well kept, and it's a bald head on top.
Monkish.
Let's see here. And that is the second one that comes in, and when they come in, they go to their chairs, but they stand there at their chairs.
Oh, they're not going to seat themselves. They'll wait until the hierarchy person comes, then they'll have a seat.
The next individual that walks in from the left side is a handsome young male looking to be in his 30s, slightly longer red hair
Young
that is
buck.
pulled back into a short ponytail at the back of where the hair meets the neck, kind of, and into a short ponytail, and a cleanly trimmed red full beard that comes around, doesn't come down, but it's just nicely trimmed and whatnot, and he does look human.
That's the main thing I was trying to find out.
And then the last one is a human male, comes in on the right side, a human male looking to be in his late 50s, long graying black hair that goes past his shoulders, and a cleanly trimmed full beard around that kind of has that grain black, yes, look to it. And they come in, and then there's a few moments that pass, and then another individual comes from behind in the center.
Is this the fifth person?
Yes. A human male with shoulder length graying black hair, similar to the last one that just came in, but instead it's, just right here at the shoulder, just doesn't go past. Comes in and comes to the front, kind of takes you all in, and then has a seat. And as he sits down, the other four on the sides sit down as well.
We have a full council.
It's like the Pentagon.
Without the
We got
stars.
all 5 sides.
The city council is now in session. Presiding, we have Count Gallus Whitmer. Also in attendance, we have Baron Brotan Norick of the Wayfarers Trading Company. And we have Baron Rold Kincaid of the Emerald Trading Company. Zathras from the Slayers Guild. And also Baron Herschel Sharano, the treasurer and businessman within the city.
Sounds like a mafia.
Who does?
Who is it that we have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Big guy.
Galandra steps forward. Council members, my name is Galandra, and I have come bearing ill tidings of a situation taking course on the western side, outside of your territory. But if it were to happen at my home, then I can only see it spreading. Not sure if you're familiar with the history of the great tree and the living tree forest, but back at and as she goes on to speak, Zathras kind of interrupts her. You say the living tree forest? I didn't think that anyone. Our records show that no one lives in a living tree forest, that it is only a forest. No one dares to even live there. And you're saying that your home, that you live there, that is your home? Yes, sir, I do live in the living tree forest, and I'm not alone. And yes, you would be correct that your records may say that, because we do live sort of in isolation. But not to stay on that, my home is being threatened by the heart of the mountain. There was peace between the great tree and the heart of the mountain for years. But now the mountain has come and threatens my home. Another member of the council, the dwarf, speaks up. And what is this a heart of the mountain that you are speaking of? I've never heard of this. It sounds very unique, almost like it'd be worth something. I assure you, it is not something that you want to think of putting a price tag on. It is what we refer to, at least for those of us that are not part of the tribes within the mountain, refer to as, I guess you could say, a leader's jewel or something to that effect. It is a symbol of leadership for the tribes within the mountain. That is all I know, but the mountain is coming for my home, and I seek aid in defending my home. The great tree helped defend the city or the village or town that it was years ago during the Great War. Helped Avalon defend its territory here on Praxis. And now we wish to, in turn, ask a favor for aid on our behalf. the human with the red hair um, is, he's all of them kind of have their own way of like sitting and whatnot. Like Zaphras is very, sitting up straight with his hands on his lap.
He is
The-
an elf.
Yes.
Doesn't know how to slouch.
The dwarf is kind of like leaning back in his chair and kind of has his
Casual
arms.
look.
Yeah. However, the human, not the one in the center, but the one with red hair, is kind of sitting off to the side like this, and he's
I
like,
think there's position.
yes. But he speaks up and leans forward, puts his hands together. You're telling me that a society that we have no record of once helped our city in protecting its territory years and years ago, and now you're coming to in turn ask for aid? How do we don't even have record of anybody living in the Living Tree Forest, so why should we believe you? That how do we know that you're not just taking our resources and using them towards your own goals, for your own
Ambitions.
greed even?
That's Baron Serrano, right?
No. That is Kincaid.
And he's in charge of
He's the one, the head of the
Finance.
Emerald Trading Company.
trade, so he's about money. He's a friend.
And he is wearing a very fine, like red outfit that kind of has like white and orange accents on it, and then also has like gold trim on it as well. And then the dwarf has more of a like blue, like aqua blue
Deep
kind of
dark,
look, different blue accents and green, and then it has like green trim.
but Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Herschel Serrano doesn't look like the rest of them. Like he looks finely dressed, but it is not
God.
as extravagant as that. I would say almost like middle class ish, but a little bit more on the upper end.
On the
kind
class
look.
of the middle,
Yeah.
the higher end.
And of
middle
course,
class.
then there's the Count, which is in the middle, that just is decked out.
Over the top.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Kincaid is the one speaking about how do we know that we have no record of a civilization existing in the Living Tree Forest. So, and you're saying that they helped our city during the Great War.
Okay,
How do
rebuttal.
we know?
Rebuttal for the lady.
I am not saying that, again, as I said, you may not have records of a society, but that does not mean that it does not exist. I am proof
You don't know.
that it
You don't
exists. Well, we can't just take your word on that. You can see that her frustration level is
know. Exceedingly high.
definitely starting to get on the rise.
If I may, I'm just a traveling cleric who's been helping culture out these last couple days. But if we have questions about someone's existence, wouldn't you need like a liaison to inspect to see if there's truth behind speculation?
He kind of looks at you and says, "And you are?"
I'm Torvine,
Your favorite
Craftsman.
person. in the
Can't say
world.
that I've heard of you.
and probably for a good reason. I have been helping some brutish ways of trying to keep evil from attacking cities. One in particular was Whetstone. But for that, I am a humble
when
follower.
you mention that, they're all kind of looking around.
I am a humble follower of the Creator, but yet
Yes,
I-
yes, we've all heard about the Creator, and yes. We appreciate everything that you do for for society and the poor and everything like that.
Then I
This
see
is-
your
this is
appreciation
a
will reach
matter of
over into this issue also.
city and political issues that were massive amounts of resources.
Are you saying the Creator doesn't have overseance over even you?
I'm not saying that at all.
You are a part of what you just described. So that means because you give reverence, reverence means that you will be humble and listen.
Go on.
Thank you for your graciousness. As I was saying, in order for someone to
You can see
call
like there's a
out-
little bit of this is the young
Higher
guy that
animosity.
kind of like
Yeah, right.
kind of like spoke up and whatnot. So you can see the dwarf on the other side kind of like
Mhm.
The iron.
you can see like he's trying to hold it back, but there was a little bit of
You got a little slap down
chuckle.
there, buddy.
And Zathras was a little nervous when you spoke up because you are a member of the guild, but then once that happened, he kind of got like a
Mhm.
small smirk on his face.
I have no skin in the game.
Literally, it's all.
I've been kicked out before. If you were to put eyes to the accusations of what she has proposed, then you would most likely understand her situation. But since you do not, I see where you have a lack of understanding, which would cause you to not accept what was brought before you. If that said, if she would be gracious to be able to, for those who doubt, to bring them to witness, then you would be able to make a better decision upon this, no matter it be yes or no. But it would give an account for your very eyes to make a judgment. I back off a little bit after I say that. I'm not being confrontational. I'm done doing that.
The count speaks up. So your proposal is to send somebody to verify her story.
One that is trusted in their opinions, yes.
And the dwarf speaks up. The one that is trusted, so forgive me, but I don't know you, you don't know me. So how am I would just be taking you at your word if we were to be
It is
Lizane-
not
Lizane.
me that has been
liaison.
chased.
Wow, I can't speak.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you and your raisins
I
and
got
raisins.
it.
It would be someone that
Like-
you would trust. And I'm sure you have many trustworthy people that surround you of someone with great renown, so that way you would be able to keep and maintain order.
Zathras speaks up. Members of the council, if I may. It may seem as news to you that there is a society within the Living Tree Forest, although I cannot speak to the absolute of this being true. However, I have heard whispers within the guild and other members on other branches speaking of said things as well, so it cannot be coincidence that someone shows up and I have heard these whispers as well. So, there has to be some merit to her story. Perhaps if we had someone even look into the history of the city, because this is going deep into history that I was not around for, and I'm pretty sure none of you were either. The dwarf kind of like
You're here.
kind of knocks on his chair. You notice that Herschel hasn't really been saying much, hasn't really said anything. He's just been kind of
Observing.
sitting there, and everybody else, as I said, has their posture, but Herschel's just kind of leaning back, has his arms crossed the entire time. And he was announced as a baron, but also was just announced as the treasurer and the and a wealthy businessman within the city. Sorry, now I just lost my train of thought. What was it that I just said? Oh, yes,
Keep
Zalfar
those.
said that. And the dwarf.
Yeah.
All right. The count speaks up. Okay. How hard would it be for not Zathras, I trust your judgment on this. If you say that you have heard whispers on this, I agree this cannot be coincidence that you have heard whispers of such a thing, and here we have someone showing up saying that they are from said place that you have heard whispers about. I do not think that is coincidence. However, I'm not sure the extent of help that we might be able to offer at this point. Because we are still in recovery from the festival, as well as we have sent a good number of troops to Whetstone to hold Whetstone to make sure that it is not taken over the way that it was before, and we have sent a good amount of personnel and resources
See, someone
to
knows
there.
about it.
What's that?
Someone knows about it.
And if these individuals trust her, and I trust Zathras's word, and these individuals, as this one has spoken, says that they were in Whetstone and helped to liberate it, I think the least that we can do is at least try to find this one some help, at least as much as we can. What say you? And the dwarf shakes his head, and and Zathras, I. The young one is over there, still kind of like irritated that he was put in his place by little Twiglet over here. But he rolls his eyes. I. And the only one that hasn't spoken is Herschel. Is like, before I give my vote, and he has a very, for someone that does not look to be the status as the others are, he has a very, like, I don't know, like, charismatic way that he talks, and it's almost, I don't want to say seductive, but it's just very, just rolls off the tongue, very smooth talker.
Yeah.
It's like,
Car salesman.
yes.
He knows how to use his words.
Very, yes, and he's very
Well,
practiced in it, and very silver tongued, I guess you could say.
Mr. Blarney.
He didn't get there by accident.
I would like to perhaps know what kind of aid this one is looking for. Is it just manpower? Is it resources in gold and things like that? Weapons? Galandra kind of looks over him and really anything at this point. I mean, gold is good, and resources like that are good, but if I don't have, the people to, if I have the gold to purchase weapons, but I don't have any people to wield the weapons, then it doesn't do much good. And weapons are not really any good if I don't have people to wield them. So it's a mixture, in a sense, I guess. But if manpower more than anything, And exactly how do the rest of you plan on supplying this help? Not disagreeing that this woman shouldn't be helped, but as it has been said before, we don't really have resources to spare as we are still recovering from the attack earlier. Are you planning on paying for this out of your own coffers? And you can see that some of them are starting to kind of second guess their decision a little bit. Kind of tilts his head to the side. Food for thought. But as it stands for right now, I think we can afford a little bit of aid. But if this is going to be something that is drawn out, or if we are in need of a massive amount of manpower, we certainly do not have it. And perhaps we need to send someone to the capital to plead this case to the king and see if he is willing to back this. After all, it is his territory over here, even though this situation is not taking place within his territory. We have someone asking a favor for a favor that they have already given, and I think that the kingdom should pay it back. And the count kind of thinks over what he has said and then agreed. Someone should go to the capital and plead this to the king. However, that will take time. Uh, what did you say your name was again? He looks at Galandra and Galandra. Galandra. We will, if my other council members are in agreement, we will send out to see what aid we can find in the surrounding territory for those that might be interested in mercenary work or being willing to give their sword to the cause, as we do not really have the manpower at this time. We'll also send someone to the capital to plead your case to the king to see if he is willing to back this conflict as well. Is that agreeable for you? She kind of looks around at the council members. Well, I guess some help is better than no help. I was hoping for a little bit more, but yes, I suppose that is agreeable. Right. It is settled then. Partial, if you want to take care of the arrangements for reaching out to those in the surrounding territories, those groups that we are familiar with that might be interested, and Rotan, if you would take care of arranging a liaison to go to the capital to lead this to the king, I think this will be settled then. Everybody nods in agreement, and the count then looks down at your group. Is there anything else you wish to bring forth before the council or to discuss?
Anybody? Anybody?
All right, this meeting
Have any headache medicine?
is adjourned, and he gets up and goes around the back of the chair and then leaves, and then the others follow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can say it right. Galandria.
Galandra.
Galandra. What exactly types of skirmishes have you witnessed of those coming out of the mountain have attacked your kin in the woods? At what scale?
It's only been small skirmishes here and there on the outside of the forest. That's just the beginning. We know that something bigger, something worse is coming. But we don't know
So
when.
it seems like that they're prodding to see your defenses before a big push.
Yes.
What is the race of the attackers?
Granted, I haven't been on the front lines. This is only reports that I've been given, but mostly Vigons and a few dwarves.
Dwarves and Vigons?
Yes.
And this is mainly, as you are, an elven race that they're attacking.
We're not all elves in the Living Tree Forest, but
There's some
a good
humans.
amount.
Any humans?
Few.
Twiggles? Any twiggles?
Yes. More than you might expect, actually.
Hmm.
In a forest? Wow. Magical forest. More twigs.
How far away are these skirmishes from the
These are
heartland?
just on the outskirts of
Just
the
on the
forest.
Is
It's
that
only a matter of time before it reaches into the inner parts of the forest and even to the tree itself.
do you have natural defenses to help against a surge of a
That's
large
all we
push?
have.
You don't have any mate structures for defense?
Not really, no.
Just individual clumps of guard tower stuff in the trees.
I mean, we do have walls, but it is not walls as you are familiar with.
For long sieges or anything.
Yes, these are not walls made out of stone and brick and mortar, or natural walls, if you will.
So fire is not your friend.
No.
Not my friend either. How long did it take you to get here?
Moments?
Oh.
And I don't know how long it's going to take the council to stir up what they mentioned that they would agree upon. But would there be a way that we could see with our eyes to see what you talk about? For our reference, we do have two Vigons who have a past that's been eluding them recently that they would probably like to.
Word of note, before the council left, she would have mentioned that she was going to be staying in the city for a day or two to hear back whether any news that they got. So she was going to be sticking around in the city for a day or two.
Okay,
To hear
so
anything.
she's planning on staying.
Yes, for the time being,
Okay.
until she has an answer or at least can take some reinforcements or something. You're like,
How much do you know about the kingdoms of the Vigons in the Great Mountains?
the great tree and the mountain, the haunt of the mountain have a long relationship. The tribes of the mountain, for a long time before my time, were at odds with each other. It was a constant battle of between tribes. Really, it was just tribal warfare back and forth. It was constant conflict. But there was one chief that rose above all the others that sought to end the constant struggle and the constant fighting amongst the tribes to unite them in peace. And that leader, wielded what came to be known as the heart of the mountain.
Wield?
In a sense, it's more of a symbol, a symbol of a position of
Authority.
authority.
Is this symbol a physical symbol?
Yes.
It had a deep meaning.
From what I have been told, it was a physical symbol.
The physical symbol, was it
What
some
it is
sort of,
exactly, I'm not entirely sure.
so
Although these two may know more, I don't know.
so it could be an amulet or possibly a gem of some sort. Do we know?
It doesn't, for Dothra, it does not sound familiar. For some reason, you feel as Raylog that something, like there is something there, but you're not sure what it is. Like at one time you probably knew, but right now, for whatever reason, you cannot recall. It's just, it's like one of those things of like, I
Should have paid attention in school more often.
yeah, it's kind of a feeling like that. Like man, I knew this at one point, but man, why can't I think of that? Like, it's just one of those feelings.
You scratch the scar.
But
Well-
it doesn't sound familiar to either of you.
So you're saying the Vigons within themselves found the strength to stop the squabbling between the tribes and the violence at one time in the
It
past.
started with one chief that stood amongst the rest and pleaded with the others, the chiefs or the leaders of the other tribes for peace. And some agreed, some didn't, but eventually all came to agreement with it
Did
at one point or another.
did most of the aggression, most of it, come from the mountain during those times? In other words,
What do you
were the
mean?
elves the receivers
No,
usually?
it was always infighting. It was always fighting a tribe against tribe. It never made its way down to the forest.
Oh,
Even though the forest was practically neighbors,
sure.
it was always within the mountain.
So the Vigons had an inner conflict for years.
And it wasn't just Vigons. It was different tribes of Vigons, but then there was also dwarves in there too.
But they were concealed, confined to the mountain.
Yes.
Okay.
And they were never one
Gotcha.
united unit. It was
Alright.
always village against
Yeah.
village. And then, oh, this village just came out of
Okay.
fighting this village. Now we can take advantage.
Alright.
And it was constant.
So is this something new that has come from the mountains to enter into the living tree forest?
That is why it's so concerning to her, because they've never been united under one banner. It's always been, a single tribe against another single tribe within the mountain. It's never been everything thrown at a single target.
And the target of the trees has never been done by the Vigons. Correct. That's what really makes it more frightening. They're all unified, and they're going against a group that they've never been hostile towards, but they're hostile this time.
Yeah.
I'm not condemning anybody, but has there been any activity of your people that might have possibly had a misunderstanding where they feel that they were a threat, and so they were reacting to a misunderstanding threat? What kind of threat
Not to
could your
my
people?
knowledge.
Okay.
To my knowledge, it was out of the blue one day. There was an attack. And lives were lost.
Do you know who's in command of this unified Vigon?
No, I don't. But I can only imagine that if all of the mountain is under one banner, then
Mhm.
whoever it is must have possession of the heart of the mountain. That's the only explanation that any of them would be
To follow in unison.
following under one banner.
Hmm. In the heart of the mountain, the city that's in control of it all, that's right in the middle of all the mountains? Is that geographically where the big city is, their capital?
Well, it's It's not a huge city. It's not big. I wouldn't say your village was very big. I mean, consider like it might be the size of like, but think Vigon size,
Right.
but something equivalent to maybe like Morningdale ish.
Okay.
But that's the size that it probably
Yeah,
is.
but dedicated
that
reinforcement.
is a bunch of Vigons living there, so things
Yeah.
are a lot more spaced out.
In-
But the middle village
okay.
of all the mountains is Heartland.
Okay. It's in the center of it. Okay. Well, that's
Which is
very
where they're
fascinating. That's a long ways from here. But you say you can go there in but a moment. Now, we do have the ability, though I do not. I'm just a mere beginner in the creator compared to those types of powers. We have a teleport that some of our priests have. But
I doubt any of them would be able to get there unless for some odd reason that they've been to the forest for some reason.
that was my point. We, as far as I know, like the one guy on the council said, they're not up to speed on a lot of things around here, just in their local area. And even to have recollection of your people in the past that have helped this community has been forgotten. It is probably archived and has to be found, which would take a while.
I can't say that I'm surprised that the city has forgotten what was done for it thousands of years ago.
You did bring it up.
I did. I guess I shouldn't assume that someone would remember that far back.
That medallion you brought and showed to the cleric at the front desk, is that from the same time frame?
Yes.
So that alone is a relic
In a sense.
to us. That would be a relic of time.
Yes.
That would be in our
Which-
museums if we had.
The only reason I handed it in at the temple is because they would be more familiar with the history of that time and the significance of that.
Are they going to give that back to you?
Oh no.
Is
The transaction was made.
for you to see them was your price, knowing that something of great value would be used in
In
order.
the time of the Great War, those tokens were a way of saying, I owe you a favor, or
So you're cashing it in.
in the
That's
time of
why he
your
said that.
need, I will come to aid, or something of great weight, and I need your help, or I need you to do whatever it is I'm asking, and I need you to do it now.
How many of those tokens did you have?
I'm not sure how many my people have, but this one was the one that we were given when we helped during the Great War.
So that's the only one you know.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry. That was very presumptuous of me. I
Yes.
apologize. Okay. I would just like to see whatever ordeal that has been placed upon you, that it would be
What
taken
you
care
would have
of.
noticed with that medallion as well is that it was pretty much solid platinum, and then the symbol and everything was inlaid with gold.
Hmm.
So it was a very fine.
Sleight of hands.
Yeah, it was a very
Yeah,
fine
okay.
looking medallion.
All right. Well, they weren't cheesy in the day. So, okay. They're melting it down in the back right now.
Oh, we need this. We need this for resources.
Yeah, we'll pay for her thing. Okay. All right. And I do apologize for the way they did treat you in a financial way. Because looking at them, you could see most of them are well-to-do of themselves. And that's why I spoke up the way I did, because it seems like they lost their way of us as a people, that we need to look out for each other instead of just for ourselves. The way of the Creator wants us to be able to help all.
Once living in a life of luxury, it's hard to imagine life differently, but for my own and myself, we live off of the land and what the land provides us with. So money isn't really an issue. Like the funds to and gold and resources aren't really much of a problem because we don't have to worry about it.
Yes, but you can also be wealthy in other ways and still be prideful.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is easier when it comes to minerals that we gauge our wealth from, which is true.
Agreed.
Well, then, I guess we have time to wait. Though it is tempting for me to ask if you could take us on a quick venture to see your land in your culture that is threatened.
I would not be opposed to taking you there. However, I want to make sure to remain in the city in case I hear something back. I don't want to be caught outside the city
Is
by chance.
is there
they-
others that have your ability to
Oh,
your
yes.
extent?
Oh, yes.
And you did say it was more common.
Yes.
Would there be a way that you could open a door for us to go through and someone from that side could send us back?
Yeah, it's possible, but it's the fact that I would be away from the city for those.
You would have to leave? Couldn't you just open a door and stay? And then someone on the other side could send us back?
I
You,
suppose.
you could.
I just assumed you would want me to go with you, so you're not just complete strangers showing up on the other side in my home and nobody knows you.
It would be easy if you had a note with your signatures explaining why we're there and that you have okayed the situation and that you would like to have us sent back in a few hours or so. I don't mean to pressure you. I'm sorry. The better of me has, yeah. I've gotten the better of myself. I'm so
If you
curious
wish
of
to
your
help,
culture.
if you wish to help me in my home, you will get there soon enough. You will be there. You will see it soon enough.
Okay, I would like that. That would be very.
But for the
I'd be
time
honored.
being, I think we will stay in the city,
What
or at least
time?
I will.
Yeah. Well, where would you like to stay? We can stay at the Slayers Guild free.
Oh, I'm going to be staying by the tree.
That happens to be a Slayers Guild. That's where they built it around. I don't know what connection in the leader. He's an elf, so he might have a little bit of.
He won't be a problem,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay.
She has like this funny little smirk on her face. Like,
Yeah.
He
Okay.
doesn't know what he's getting into.
Good.
I'll hand him like I handled that half elf.
Oh, we
Or that wood elf.
we'd like to see him squirm too a little bit. We don't even know him that much. Yeah, we suckered him. I mean, we got into his group, so then I guess that's about it. I have to say.
Okay. All right. Well, do you guys have anything particular that you want to do in the meantime for like the next 2 days?
Last time before the explosion happened, we were going to go to the herb shop,
Mhm.
and that's where Sybil was going to look for. She said a component that she needed for a possible cure for her condition.
Yes.
So I'm assuming she would have gravitated towards there
No, that's fine.
and done that. I would like to see if there were any, because I would like to see about making some healing potions.
Okay.
So I would like to make sure I get the recipe to be able to make them and be able to acquire them at the herb shop.
Mhm.
So I would, since we're still standing there across the road from the temple, I pretty much would go over there and ask for the exact recipe for that, and then see, or ask them where do they acquire when they make them, so that way I might be able to do the same.
Okay.
Because that would help our group if I could spend a couple hours or whatever making some healing potions before we go, instead of everyone saying, well, we need to go out and find a shop and buy this and that.
All right. So you want to go by the potion shop or the apothecary?
After I go and get the recipe to see what I need.
Where are you getting the recipe?
Temple.
Okay.
Right across the road.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You go there, and there is the same individual that
Sure.
took Ingrid's place, sitting at the desk.
Yes.
And what can I do for you?
Yes,
You're
I'm
back.
Yes, I am back. Frequent flyer miles. I plan on acquiring, as clerics would like to do. I'm still fairly base level. I'm stepping out on a limb. I would like to start making some healing potions. So I'm asking if I can be pointed in the right direction where I may acquire the recipe for that. So I may find the ingredients.
Well, certainly. One moment. And he goes back into the room that they always go in to grab potions and this, that, and the
Oh,
other
great!
thing.
I have to be carded. See how old I am. I see.
No. That he comes back with essentially like a 3x5 card, I guess you could say, and hands it to you. It's a few minutes later.
Okay.
Which seems like he
Better
was,
than 2 hours.
seems like he quickly scribbled down the ingredients for you on this little scrap piece of parchment.
Okay. Would this also be for regular healing and then greater healing?
If you want both of them, that
Yes.
can be done.
Yes, that would be fine because there's some big people in my party, and sometimes they need a little more pick me up.
Okay. Yeah, and he can get that for you as well. Essentially, for the regular healing potion, it's some pretty common
I'll just write
ingredients that, for you being a alchemist or having some dabbling in some alchemy,
Yeah, in a potion.
um, things like balsam and whatnot are on there.
Okay.
It's pretty common things that you would find in your everyday, like, apothecary store. The greater healing potion is when they start getting into there being some imbuminite involved.
Okay.
So, but I can come up with a list for those
Okay.
things for you.
All right.
How many are you looking to make possibly?
Well, I would just double the batch, right? So if I get a regular batch that makes one, then I can just double it and whatever.
I didn't know if there was going to be like a
I don't have a
huge
set
order
number
that
right
you were
now.
going to be making, or
No. I just want to make one or two to show I can.
Okay.
Instead of us spending a lot of money on buying actual made ones.
Okay. For the imbuminite, it's like a half a pound of imbuminite. For the what is it? The greater healing, I think. Is that what the next one is? I think is what it's called. Extra healing.
Okay. That's half a pound?
Well, it's half a pound of the refined, the
Sure, it's still
ground up.
because that's $200. Okay, and this is not the greater, but the
I guess it would
extra.
be less than one,
Yeah.
because they're not even.
Nope.
Well,
Extra was 300. But to be able to make something, it should be half the price,
yeah,
the most.
it's
Half the price.
pretty close. It's pretty close.
But that's just that. But the other ingredients also are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
It's not gonna be much for the other, for like balsam and things like that.
Okay.
That's gonna be like a couple silver pieces. Like you might spend like 5 gold or something.
Okay. I'll just say in general.
Yeah,
Like
for
you say,
for like the
some-
regular healing potion, if you were gonna make like, you know, 5 of them or something like that, like it would maybe cost you like a couple gold. It wouldn't be very much for like because the
The bigger amount.
the reason it costs the way that it is, or well, I guess I have to multiply now because I'm thinking my old way. So it'd be so it wouldn't be just a couple. Let's see if it was like 3, it'd be like 12 gold for like a regular healing potion. The greater healing
For
potion.
one. Okay.
No, that would be for like 5 of them.
So it's like 2.5 or whatever per if I did 5. If it's 12 gold pieces
Mhm.
to make 5,
Mhm.
you divide 5.
Mhm.
That'd be like 2 point something. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the greater would be probably close to like 12 per.
So the extra healing is like 12 per.
Yeah, that's just for the extra ingredients though, not the
And
imbuminite.
the Bunai is half per.
Yeah, and remember the price that I gave you guys for imbuminite would have gone up because of the changes that we did for finances.
Yeah, you'll work that out. Because you're it's not 300 anymore for the extra. It's probably like
It's like
550 or
No,
something.
it's like 900.
That's 3 times.
Everything that you
All right.
guys are going to be making from this point is going to be like
All right.
multiplied
You're
by
making
4.
us regret that we even put a raise in for hourly wages in there.
You guys just got
Yeah, I
like
understand.
12 grand
Uh,
from your.
but it had been split, of course, and then tied. So yeah, it doesn't come out that way. Okay. So about 2.25 per. Okay. All right then. Thank you for the recipe. That was very helpful, and I will go over to the apothecary.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're going over to Common Solutions with Jeannie Jamin.
Ginger.
That's a name no one's heard in a while.
Oh boy.
Jeannie Jamin.
Yes, Jeannie Jamin.
Okay.
Not to be confused with your cousin.
Kim remembers that
Jenny
name.
Yeah, well, she wants to be familiar with it too because she would like to get what she's looking for. Okay, so I'll go over there. While I'm going over there, they
What are
can
you
do-
saying, Kim?
So that's where I go. I don't know how far away that is from
Said I'm
me.
really close to being done with work.
Huzzah!
Almost. Yeah. We'll stop slacking and finish.
Of course.
Scrub
All right.
faster.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do better.
Jamin.
Yeah. We're your support group.
All right. So you guys go over to Common Solutions.
Yes. Does she have employees there too? So it's not just Jeannie?
Does she have other employees?
No, it's just Jeannie.
Okay.
Hello.
All right.
Jeannie. What's up?
Yeah, that's the way I want to do it. I walk in, she has a bell that rings the top of the door.
Yep.
That's how I'm going in.
Yep.
All right. I try to walk my toes, that way she can see me better.
Okay.
I always get cramps doing that.
Oh, hello, friends. It's been a while. I wondered when you guys would be stopping in.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't totally forget about me.
Well, life was on the line at times. We're glad we're able to have this conversation with you.
It was a little too exciting for us.
Yeah,
to say
some of us
hi on the
almost
fly.
became snacks, but we're all better now.
We won't say who.
Well, that is certainly some exciting stories and some exciting tales.
You don't know the quarter of it.
I thought that our little excursion was exciting, but it seems like you guys have had even more exciting adventures since I last saw you.
Well, we seem to
Just
build up
left
to
me
a
on the
higher
steps of
climax.
the temple, grinding my mortar and pen.
Well, sometimes we
More and pestle.
think about that too.
You're gonna say something.
Oh, I was like, is it pestle?
Pestilence?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, well, what brings us in is I have a recipe that I'm going to start using some brewing of potions. And I would like to start off by doing a healing potion, which I need these ingredients.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, and of course we have those things. I don't. You're
Novice.
making healing potions. I don't have human methods, unfortunately. That is something that
It's
I'll have to
fine.
go somewhere else to.
Yeah, believe me, that's going to be
Acquire.
an endeavor that we'll do in the future. But this will be my first potion. So I'm just
Well,
happy
this
to be
is
able
certainly
to,
exciting. An
Yeah.
alchemist on their way.
Oh, I'm blushing. Thank you. I'm wondering, now since this is
That's
my
what I mean.
first potion and it's
How does bark look when you blush? I wonder.
That's why I said his bark got darker. That's all it is.
it puffs up, just to let you know.
Fungus.
Hmm.
Alright.
Does it crack?
More
It
like
might sound that way if I don't blush that often.
More like it has sprouted.
Okay, all right. You know how when you're in the woods and you hear the trees bend?
Leaves show up.
Like that.
They bloom.
Flowers.
Oh,
I love it.
that'd be
That
terrible.
is canon.
That'd be terrible.
Buds.
That is canon.
Definitely
So that's
sprouting
why
things.
Ginger always knew that he was blushing or something because he had
Little flowers
just
popping up.
flowers pop up.
We call it
Little
bark,
mushrooms and
we
flowers.
call it bark acne is what we call it. Yeah.
The teenage twiglets get it the worst.
But the oh, I have gold pieces. Okay. I would like to see about making 5 healing potions.
Okay.
So that would be
12.
the
Just 12 gold.
for 5.
Yep. Does it mention in like the non-weapon ability for alchemy, like how long it takes for making the
It's a half
different
hour.
things?
It's a half hour for the small potions.
Okay.
As long as you have an alchemist kit, which I do. So I would that's 12 gold pieces. So here you go. This is very good. I have a question for you. Are there other novice type of potions that I would be able to acquire that might be easy for a young novice potion maker to make?
Salt water.
I don't think the Vigon's qualified to have this conversation.
There's a variety of different things you could do and different types of ointments and things that you can dabble in. Depends on kind of the direction that you want to go, whether it's healing or some kind of
Do you have an enhancer? Sort of like something that would help constitution or that would help someone dexterous, that they would have an elixir.
That would be something a little bit more advanced, I would say. Something more minor would be like a resistance or something to a particular type of something that you would be coming across, like poison or fire or acid, even like something like that. That would be more of a minor.
Would that be an elixir or an ointment?
Most likely be something in an elixir, most likely.
Because you ingest it.
Yes.
And does not require imbuminite?
It would depend. It would depend on the kind that you're making. Poison, you wouldn't need one per se, but as you get into more elemental things like cold and lightning, I would say you most likely would need something.
Poison as of like taking damage, or poison as of like paralysis?
Yes.
Same,
Yes.
but still separate.
It would be. There are different types of antidotes that you can make that can fight both, like keep someone from being paralyzed or poisoned. And then there would be other ones that you can take to the more, I guess you could say, deadly poisons that would actually eat away with you, or eat away at you, almost like acid, versus
So it's
just
stronger.
being,
Okay.
yeah, versus just being more of a simple poison that's more of a headache
Okay.
to deal with.
So yes, then I would like to try one of those for the. I guess the one for poison.
So you're looking for more of like an
An
antidote
antidote. Yes.
that would go against, that would remove the poison condition and paralysis.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that would be more simple and be more of a minor.
Okay, I would like
thing.
to make 5 of those also.
That'd be around the same price. You can just put 12 for that.
Okay. 3 potions. 12. This is for poison paralysis. Okay, all right. So there's goes another 12. 3, 2.
Yeah, for that you could put like a remedy antidote or something like that, or remedial antidote. That way it would differentiate from just a regular antidote that would be just for like poison,
Okay.
because this one does both.
Okay. All right. Can this be a preventative? Taken
It doesn't
before?
work very well as a preventative. It's more of after the
After.
fact.
Okay. Okay.
The preventative ones are more advanced.
Okay. Okay. And that's it. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah, because this is just like herbs and things like that, which would help
It's
you.
not be resilient to it.
Yeah, it would just help your body naturally like weed out
Okay.
things that would be keeping you from moving, or
Okay.
poisons affecting you and things like that. It won't totally take the edge off, so to speak, from like being poisoned, but it makes it so that you're not affected by the poison condition, so you don't have the drawbacks of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you're not like 100% until like a little bit after it's worked its
Right.
way through your system. But it definitely helps.
Okay.
So you're not, having a -5
Right.
to your attacks or something.
Well,
you're poisoned.
I
and
think as a
checks
novice,
and saves and things like
I
that.
think those two are very convenient to start with. And I do thank you for your information.
Paralyzation's not fun either.
No, it isn't.
So being able to be like, oh, you're paralyzed? Here.
How about thee? No, I can't. Yeah.
We just said talk to him about the stuff I need to talk to him about.
Oh, nonsense.
Who you need to talk to about what?
We just kind of say I've talked to her about the things I want to talk to her about.
Sure.
Yep.
So
No,
we
we're
need
there.
to talk to you. Cool.
Yeah, we can chit chat about that later, Kim. About the stuff that you want to, because I didn't bring that with me. The stuff that for your cure that you're looking at. All right. Is there anything else that you're looking to?
I have these herbs that I don't have all of them, but I have most of them that we found on an excursion down in the mines. Some of these herbs were used actually in a nefarious way to turn people into creatures. And I was wondering if you could identify these and tell me later what they are, and
Oh, yes.
be able to help me to make sure that I know what they are and what their role was during the procedure that this alchemist did. So that way, we can figure out possibly if this happens to people in the future, we might be able to make an antidote to get rid of this nasty concoction that he put into people. He called his concoction Glimmer.
Oh, she would take a look at it and kind of tell you what she knows. There's a variety of different things here, from some ingredients that you are familiar with, like
Right.
balsam and things like
Yeah.
that are for common herbal remedies and things like that.
Right.
However, there are some things that are more like mushrooms and fungi and things like that are even some roots and things like that, which funny enough, there's some of the thing, or one of the things that you pull out is actually red root that he had down there.
Right.
There's different types of fungi that would induce like hallucinations and things like that, or things that I guess you could say if you ingested them, it would make you very
High.
ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
know, in the
There's
movies when
mushrooms,
everything's just like
yeah, stretching.
yeah, it would be very much like that.
So that's the
there'd be-
herbs, the
There'd be
fungus, and the
some
mushrooms.
things in there that were for just you would either burn it or have them ingest it, and it just puts them
Right.
out like a what's that thing that they use to put you under?
No king.
What's it called though?
Yeah, that's local anesthetic.
Anesthetic.
Yeah.
That would be more like an anesthetic. Yeah,
So
there's a variety.
There
of
is this
different
one
things.
herb that is a yellowish green, and when burnt, it can be like smelling salts to bring you around.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to make sure if I could get that identified too, what type of herb that is.
Okay.
That's
yeah,
one
I'll
of
give you.
the
I'll get you
highlight
the name.
Okay. Because some people that are like unconscious, this might be a good way to, if you don't have anything to pour, they'll wake them up with the paralysis or something. But this is because they're unconscious, then these are like smelling salts. You can fan them to smoke quickly.
Yep.
And then.
Yep. No, I know what you're referring to. I can't
Okay.
think of it right off
Yeah.
the bat. So I'll-
Believe me, it took me a little bit to find this in my crazy notes. So
yeah.
so yeah, but that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get a list of those things to you.
Wow. You're really amazing, and I appreciate that.
All right. Anybody else want to buy anything at this Common Solutions for?
You got any salve for the
Potions?
top of his head? I mean, make sure it heals nice and everything. Doesn't
Doesn't get sunburn up there?
yeah, something. Chafe, nothing like a chafing head.
What kind of gunk can we slap on the back?
You just put some lard up there. It'll be fine.
It can help things, just saying.
I'm not sitting up there.
Putting butter,
Put some
margarine
eggs up
on
there.
some things, you can do stuff.
Okay.
All right. Anywhere else anybody wants to visit?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
I think.
We're ready for another adventure.
I guess we'll go back to the tree, since that's where she's going to be, and I'll set up my little kit and I'll start doing my.
Okay. So you do your potions over the course of the next day or two.
Yeah.
For the next day or two, how are you guys? Are you guys planning on checking up with Galandra, or how are you handling that?
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on her. We'll ask her. Whatever you find, don't leave us. Find us. We're right here on the grounds, also.
Okay.
If that's all right with you guys. When we tell Oak too, because he's an intricate part of this group.
gotta.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that
As he
I
wakes up
get
in the corner.
Brutus up, and I'll inform Brutus what's going on. So that way, if he happens to pop up, he's not like,
Oh,
oh,
you're up
now
there
where you
telling the
got me.
creator like what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah. So I would like to venture a little bit in between my making potions. I would like to go in the direction that Ginger goes when she goes out towards the ocean.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I'm curious because she says this is pretty much where she lives. So I mean, does she have a hovel, a little house on the beach? Does she go for a swim and live in the seaweed? I don't know. So I would just like to see if I can find footprints or whatever, or maybe some other people go down that direction too. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So you go out and you follow Ginger or Aya.
You know, let's not bring that in. Let's keep it where it belongs.
Out to follow her out to where she goes to be alone. She goes off like where the tree is, which is over here on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up going farther off towards the wall, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And the forest gets a little more dense as you guys get closer to the ocean. However, at one point, roll an awareness check for me.
Which is percent. All right. I need to roll like I did last time, and I did not. But it's a 43.
Is that a pass?
It is a pass. It's not a hard pass. I got it
my day.
by 20%.
Okay. You lose
My dice.
you lose sight of her for a second. As she kind of picks up the pace and darts off in one direction. However, you quickly pick up the pace and catch up, and eventually spot her again just in time to move out of the way as an arrow, like, and you just kind of like move out of the way, and there is a target
I'm gonna leave the.
scraped out of a tree that you were walking by, and the arrow just right into close to the center. Not quite a bullseye, but pretty close. She's like, "What are you doing? I could have killed you."
Possibly hurt me bad, yes. I didn't know you were target practicing.
This is where I go to be alone. What are you doing out here?
I thought this is where you're going to find your home.
No, I'm coming out to train.
You're training with a tree.
Yes.
In like 2 seconds, you weren't training anything, and then all of a sudden you're shooting tree.
She's like, "Come over here." And she like leads you off into a spot there and says, "Just stay here. Don't move, okay?" She like goes off and she kind of disappears for a second.
1
few
Mississippi,
moments.
2 Mississippi. 3
Then you see
Mississippi.
her come running and kind of run and jump off of like a tree and shoot towards the same target that she shot. And she kind of rolls around the tree, knocks another arrow, and you see her aiming towards another tree. And as you look at where she's aiming, there's another target that is scraped out in the wood. And she goes through and does some rotations of like moving up and down different things, using the terrain as her advantage to move around and duck behind cover and then shoot. But it's very, very snappy, very quick.
I lean into my shield a little tighter. It looks a little intimidating.
But she goes through the motions of just doing that and then comes back and her quiver is empty. She's like, and you can tell that she's a little
Miffed?
a little
Winded.
a little winded. Like she's done it before, but
Yeah,
it's just
but that's what it
definitely
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like you need a berry.
no, I'm fine.
Oh, okay.
I'm very okay.
Well, you're definitely up on your game.
Thank you.
Oh, I must give credit where credit's due.
I hope you didn't think my lack of participation in your hunt meant that I was scared or didn't have the means to help.
It did cross in my mind at first, but then I realized the agreement. The agreement was that we would, on our own, fold the beast, and your contamination would eliminate that agreement. So I understand, and I didn't get eaten.
I'm glad that you understand.
Yeah.
We can walk away from it. Allies, I presume, still.
On that note, I have a question.
Yes, and she kind of like wanders over to the different targets and begins pulling her arrows out.
Wow. I was curious. You were on the grounds, weren't you, when that warden lady came and made her appearance on the grounds?
I was on the grounds, yes.
Did so? You heard the commotion?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about what transpired?
By the time I got there, she was already there,
Mm.
and shortly after, um, Rixus showed up along with a few others, and then as time went on, more and more people showed up.
So you never were close enough to find out what was going on.
No,
Well, this is a lady from far away to the west.
well, she didn't look like anybody that I know around here, so.
No, she was asking for help for her people who seem to be targeted by an aggressor group that is bigger than they've been encountering because they've only been getting skirmished. But now it seems like possibly the rest of the horde would come down upon her civilization. So she was asking for help. So we went to the council. The council heard and took what she said to heart, and they're investigating what they can help with. She is residing here on the grounds here because apparently she's been here hundreds of years ago. So she has a history, though we have no recollection. I didn't know if that would be something that you'd be intrigued about to see about helping somebody in need.
So you're asking me to join in a conflict, essentially.
Outside of monster hunting, yeah. Something that has great value also for human life.
I'll have to think about it.
That is fair, because there is vagueness that does surround her request. We also would like to investigate, and we have mentioned to her. She said she would like to entertain that after she has waited for a short time from the council being able to let her know how the support can go to her.
All right. I'll think about it.
Very honorable. I know you train. Are there other things in this area that you do other than train? Do you have a personal area here where you may reside or others you meet and do activities?
She gets like a. You sense actually. We don't have something for perception.
We don't.
Does she have flowers popping up on her
No,
face?
no. Or it'd be more of like
That's
it
just
would be more of like either a perception or an insight.
Be inside.
And do an insight check.
Now I can roll a 20.
You sense a bit of from when you first met her, it was very standoffish, but she's definitely over the course of your guys' trek to Burkton and whatnot has warmed up to your crew. Despite you personally, your
Persistence?
yes, and very preferring to push the buttons, so to speak, and inquire about a lot of things. As frustrating as that may be to her, she still has a sense of like, this guy's not that bad. He's not all that bad. He's all right.
He's a comrade.
Yeah, he's all right.
We could die together.
And you also capture a little bit of almost kind of a little bit of a smirk or a smile of like she tries to hide it, almost like a girl would whenever they're slightly interested in somebody, but then at the same time like they're trying to hide it and they're like, I don't want them to know that there's some interest there, kind of like that. She's like, follow me, and she leads you towards the ocean. And you come to a partially cleared area that has a bench there, made out of wood, no metal other than like nails and things like that to hold it together. And she has a seat.
Okay, well, I'll sit next to her.
This is where I come to think when things kind of get out of hand or I just need to get away. Then you can just see the vast ocean and you're sitting like a couple feet from
The lapping
a
water.
ledge
Uh-huh.
that just goes like 150 feet down.
Cliffs it over. Here we are.
And you guys are like, a good
Yeah.
5 to 10 feet away from the edge.
So we can see miles
Yeah.
out.
Oh yeah, just
Yeah.
ocean.
Mhm.
And you can see the ships coming in and out towards the harbor and going up and down the coast.
Yeah. Pterodactyls.
Yeah, the seabirds and things like that.
And Jurassic Park.
I'll just sit down next to her and go, wow.
Yeah. Sometimes it's nice just to sit and take it in. At this point, it's getting a little bit later, so the sun's kind of reaching that horizon a little bit.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit of the sunset over the ocean.
Yeah. I'll just tell her, it almost makes you feel like the world could be on reset here.
Sometimes when I'm out here, I just wish that the world would stop just for a few moments.
Seems to be a happy spot.
She, a few more moments go by, and then she says, she gets up and she's like, well, I have one more place to show you.
Lead on.
And she walks towards the edge of the cliff.
And she pushes me over.
And she faces you still sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of leans back and
Nesty plunge.
falls off the edge of the cliff. Just leans back.
I'm not going to be tricked. Because I know what happened to Aragorn when he fell over that cliff. It was only a 5-foot little
Nobody
knoll.
know that. Nobody know that.
There was no river down there. Green screen all the way. Okay. I will scamper over to the edge and stare.
Okay. You don't see her at all. Do you continue to look?
Yeah.
A few moments go by and you're like, oh my goodness. Where'd she go? And you see a hand pop out from inside
The ledge.
the ledge. A good like 10, 15 feet down.
Oh, yeah, there you are, Ginger. You're like down there.
You're really trying to avoid something.
Come on!
What's the holdup?
Well, your arm's out. Okay. I'll take a little hop and reach for her arm.
Okay, make a dex check.
Yeah, goody. 14.
Out of, and what do you need?
I think 15. Yep, 15 I need, right?
Okay. She rolled an 8. So you guys.
Okay. Yeah, I was a
Yeah,
little nervous on that.
you come down and you kind of grab, but it's almost to the point like not a firm grab,
Yeah.
but as you come down, you grab her forearm and
Yeah.
she firmly grasps your arm and kind of
Yeah.
swings you back in.
Well, I'm 13 pounds.
Yeah.
They lose my leg.
And it is a
Who wants to do a
hole
medicine spell?
in the wall that is a good 10 feet ish there.
Wide.
So it's very comfortable for you guys to
Right.
fit in there. And it kind of leads into farther in, but it's just this is kind of like the doorway in the side of a cliff.
Okay. How much of a flat possible ledge before the hole? If you drop down, knowing it was there, is there like a half a foot ledge, 6 inches or something? If you just jumped, you land on the ledge.
There's
knew
a
it was
little
there?
bit of an outcropping of rocks that kind of come out like
Yes.
that you could like.
If
know,
you knew about it.
Yeah, if,
Right,
like
right,
if you were falling or something like that and you happen to grab a hold
Yeah.
of it or whatever.
But if you knew, you
You
could
do
just
that.
barely
Yep.
pass it and just land on it and know
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, but I didn't know anything. Okay. Right.
No,
Okay.
The way that it looks from up there
Yeah,
is it just looks like the rocks just
yeah.
sticking out a little
Okay.
bit.
But about 10 feet in, also is where a doorway is, or is
There's
it
no
just
doorway.
open?
Nope,
Just open. Okay. All right.
Yep. And she leads you in, and it's a good 15 feet or so, and then it opens up into more of a
The cavern.
wider
Okay.
room, and there's different types of handmade furniture there, similar to the bench. A bed in there.
Woodsy stuff.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Wow. No windows.
But you get sea breeze.
Yeah, you do. Wow, this is really neat. This home you have here.
Yeah, I figured if it was down over the ledge a little bit, then people couldn't really bother me.
Well, they definitely wouldn't have you on the mailing list. That's for sure.
If anybody really wants to get a hold of me, they can go through the guild too.
Only if you accept.
I found this. I didn't make this, but as I've mentioned before, and she kind of sits at a table there, a small circular table that she has that has 2 chairs there, even though she's usually like the only one that's here. But she happens to have 2 chairs. Like, probably hoping that at some point she would have
A
company
guest,
at some
yeah.
point or a guest. She sits down in that chair, one of the chairs, and as I've mentioned before, I grew up in the guild, and as I got older, I wanted to kind of have my own independence, I guess you could say, and the guild kind of raised me in a sense, but I wanted my own sense of making it in the world. So it's funny, I was out here training one day and trained to the point where I could barely walk, and went to go and sit at the bench and happened to stumble just a little too far and went over the ledge and That's how I found this place. And I thought that it would be a nice place to call home. All I had to do was just bring the things down here and put things together, build it.
So, Max, excuse me, Rixus, does he know you live here?
No.
Nobody knows.
That's
Nobody
very
knows.
impressive. He seems to be someone who's very encompassing.
Mm.
Nobody dropping in on
But good for you to have your liberated area where you have a comfort zone. Just to let you know, I will not divulge this information to anybody because you invited me. I will not break that.
I appreciate that.
But
You seem unlike others that I've met before that have tried to join the guild and things like that. Although there are some things I will say that are a little irritating about you, but despite that, you're a good individual, good man.
A good.
I do thank you for that word. I feel that some of that is because I'm subject to the Creator, and I am accountable. And the accountability should rub off on all those who believe in the Creator. But it is not. I am just a servant. But maybe an annoying one at times, I've heard, but a servant nonetheless. But on that note, I don't want to wear my stay too much here. I probably should get back so people don't question where I am. And that way no one's looking for me. But again, I do thank you for opening up and being able to show me a piece of you that not many are able to know.
It feels good. Feels good to open up a little.
Agreed. How do you get out of this place?
Mhm.
I'll leave that
Open up.
for you to figure out.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
thank you. All right, well, I'll mosey on up there and go over to the edge there, and I'll look at the top and I say, that's a pretty impressive. I try to, can I do an investigation to see if there's like little footy steps or a little row?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Awareness or investigation?
Either one, whichever you prefer.
Well, I have better wisdom, so I mean intelligence, so I can roll pretty high. A 9.
Yes,
Oh,
there
my
are
17.
very prominent dug out. Now that you're down here, you can see that there's
The
more
angle.
prominence
Okay.
of,
Grasp.
and the rocks are even to the point where they're beveled out
Cupped.
a little bit, so that you
Okay.
can actually like grip them, and they come out or they're dug in enough so that you can get
Okay.
a foothold and whatnot. And they just go straight up. Although looking down, you don't remember seeing any of that, but now that you're here and you can see it up close, it's
You're more
definitely
aware of
there.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll say toodaloo and oh boy, and then I'll climb.
Okay. And because of this and the way that it is, you don't need to do like a climbing check or anything because you're not actually like hanging on to a
Right.
rock or something like that.
It's already made for
Yeah,
grab.
it's already
Okay.
designed
All right.
that way.
Okay.
But it takes you a few minutes, but you end up getting up there, no problem.
Okay.
Um,
When I get to the top, I don't want to exit the same way I came.
okay.
I would walk more of the perimeter down the cliff beach side
Towards the tree.
towards the tree,
Okay.
and then come back into it, and then where I was before when I was doing my brewing potions.
Okay. Anybody else want to go seeking adventure somewhere?
Wash a bear.
Raylog
All
says-
because Toravine wanted to go and see what Ginger was doing in the forest.
I knew she was going towards the water.
I thought that
I knew that.
I thought
I
that
knew that.
the cliff hut
Like, you
was a
can't remember
little
my name.
little funny touch.
Yeah. So there you go.
Boy.
Was that today?
No. That was
Okay.
That was
yeah,
planned.
all right,
If you went out there earlier, like when you guys
When they
first
first-
met
yeah.
and whatnot,
It would have been.
it would have been just like run and then just jump off the cliff. Why don't you just jump off?
Yeah. I was waiting to be jumping into like a hallucination or something. I know. Because you go through a barrier and then
The
there's. Okay. All right.
No.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
glad I stopped and looked instead of just, okay, here I go.
Oh, I shot past the arm.
Mistakes were
Oh
made.
boy.
I hope I jumped out far enough into the water.
Where's in your seagull?
I'm swaying.
Fall into a pelican's mouth.
Where'd Torvine go? Well, you see, the sea creature
Yeah.
thought it was playing fetch, and it
There's
was
this thing
Torvine
that
was the stick.
He'll be back in about 10 adventures.
Jonah.
Yeah.
Jonah.
Or maybe Geppetto.
We don't talk about it.
So,
All right. Moving on. Let me put this back. All right. So, is anybody doing anything for the next couple of days, or we should just move to the end of?
no, I think we're done.
Okay.
I think we got that.
So
Yeah,
at
I
the
got my
end
potions
of,
Well, if we have a whole nother day.
she said she was going to be around for a day or two.
Yeah. If we have that extra day, I would like to do potions again.
Okay.
So that way we can have a handful when we come back from something. Say, oh man, we just used them up, and then everyone shouldn't have like 10 potions on.
Mhm.
But this is the idea that
All right.
there we go. Is we're able just to rejuvenate them. They don't have to wait for me to make it.
Mhm.
So I would like to revisit Gina. Right? Genie.
Genie.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
a beanie.
Genie Jamin.
Genie Jamin. Like you be jamming. Okay. Genie Jamin.
Hmm.
And I would like to buy the same thing.
Okay.
5 of each.
So you're leaving them in King's Harbor? Some of them, I think.
Some.
I think he's
Yeah,
just
some.
going to leave it at the guild.
Yeah.
As a storage
Right.
space.
Yep.
You know, the foot locker at the bed type deal. I'll
Yep.
come back to it.
Got it. Someone's got to
Just put a name on it, Kindred.
guild. Yeah.
You know that option in video games? There's like send to camp. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Just sending all the gear, all the potions, everything. Send it to camp.
Down.
We'll sort it out later. It's an infinite holding space.
That's the auction tree. So now, in that time frame, I'll have 10 potions of each.
All right.
Would you guys? Do you know how many you have of regular healing potions right now?
Knowing me,
3.
I'd probably like
3
another one
each?
for each. No, 3 total.
I
I
So,
think.
Yeah,
maybe
2 total
two
for the
each.
Vigons.
Okay, that's good. All right, so I will give 1 more to the Vigons.
Okay.
That puts me at 9.
You have a token?
I do. I think.
I don't need 10 tokens here and pass them out, but And potions now
Yeah, I mean, you're
again.
making them. You should make the tokens and hand them out.
2d4?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
you get
used
1
up
more?
my
Yeah, 'cause they're
healing
regular
potions.
What's Marie getting?
What?
1?
I used up my healing potions.
They're all gone.
All used
You
up,
drank
man.
them for breakfast.
Yeah, we have to have a conversation about that.
Says the man
I don't feel
who
hurt,
married-
but I feel something's off. My back hurts a little bit.
Funny, the back still hurts.
Both rolled over.
Just tastes good.
This is not a potion of adjust my back.
I will give you 2 potions, one for you and one for your bear, and he could probably hang on to them.
The bear.
He's less likely to get pickpocketed than me.
Less likely just to gulp them down. All right, 7.
He doesn't have opposable tongue.
No, but he can clasp.
Well, you got armor for him. You can just put a pack on him.
Yeah. Yeah, like
What
Pony
are you
Express.
laughing about?
Pony Express.
I'm laughing away.
Mhm.
What
So are you
I
keeping
do.
any?
I already have some.
Okay.
I have 3 healing potions
So you
on me
don't
right
need
now.
any discs.
Let me see if slip of this.
I slipped the disc.
I have 1, 2, I have all three.
Okay.
Yep. Got all three.
Okie dokie.
Okey-dokey.
All right. So second date gets close to a close, and Galandra comes up and finds either one of you or your group and informs you that she's going to be leaving in the morning.
Sun up,
Well,
Yes.
like at 6 in the morning, 6:30, something.
now that
A
we
little
know
bit
how
later.
you really feel.
7,
Like
7:30.
7-ish.
Okay. All right. Okay. Tomorrow morning, then she'll be leaving. But we don't know what's transpired.
No.
Is she around the ground so we can talk with her?
She's staying at the tree.
Okay, I'd like to talk to her, see what information
Okay.
she got.
Whenever she tells you that she's leaving in the morning, you can talk to her then. That's fine.
I'll do that. That's fine.
Essentially, she lets you know that she received word that the emissary or whatever going to the capital to plead her case is on their way. However, she has not heard word about any groups or anything in the surrounding areas that are
Committed.
committing to taking up her cause and defending her home. But then again, it's only been a few days, so. But she wants to get the ball rolling. So, in hearing that an emissary was sent, she doesn't trust them to be as urgent
Yeah,
as
just
what
be
the
like-
situation calls for, and she's debating on whether to go and deal with it herself.
Deal with herself as of
Going and pleading her case herself
to the magistrate.
to the king.
Okay. Well, okay. Well,
But she's going to be leaving in the morning and have a decision by morning.
okay, from what she hears.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because she's going to be coming to you guys like early, late morning or midday, telling you that she's leaving in the morning. And that's
Okay.
kind of the update that she has at that point.
All right. During the afternoon of the day before we go, because I would have done the potions in the morning up to noon, that'd be about 5 hours. I would like to go out into the town and look for people who might want help or something, in general.
Okay.
And just go out and just help people.
Okay.
So whatever that would entail.
Yeah, there's a variety of different things that you come across.
Yeah.
People needing help with, bringing some things into the house or things like that, or
common things.
yeah, just
To find widows or
Yeah.
something to be
Yep.
able to help.
Yep.
Yeah, I
some
would do
odds
that.
and ends, things like that,
Yes.
where something just obviously someone's distraught about something and you approach them and ask if there's anything you can do.
And I would tell them about the creator and tell them who I am I'd like to open up a little bit of hope to the people after this large catastrophe that happened half a month ago. This has
Roll,
been-
as you are going about and doing these things, make an awareness check.
Oh,
You almost did it again!
you're conditioning me. 45, so it's 20 below
Okay.
what I need.
You spot a hooded figure with red hair coming out of the hood occasionally as you are going around helping folks during the day. It just, you'll be
all right, okay.
you'll be going and doing something, and you just happen to, turn around and you catch this individual leaning up against a corner or something
Okay.
like that, and then a few moments later you look and
Disappear.
they're not there,
Right.
and then you go somewhere else and help somebody else, or you're finishing up that and you come out and the individual's somewhere else, but
All right. But I'm noticing a tail. I don't get a headache or anything, do I?
No.
Okay. Going nuts. Okay. Do I recognize a certain amount of this person?
It looks semi-familiar. You've seen this kind of get-up before. They're not hiding as well as they think they are.
Male or female?
Female.
Okay. All right. I'm good. All right. That's fine. But I want to make sure that I keep up on my game of doing my clerical duties.
Okay. All right. So next day, where are you guys? Are you guys gonna go and try to find Galandra?
Yeah, we're
or-
going to go to the tree,
Okay.
right? So
Why
that we,
not?
Yep. She's there. She has her pack and
Figure out what
everything
she
all
knows.
good to go, and she is essentially leaning against the tree, waiting for you guys to show up. 'Cause she assumed you guys were going to be
yeah.
showing up.
I'll show up with a glass of orange juice.
Ah, yes. Good morning jump start.
Yes, and jumping is a good thing to do in the morning.
Is it like a whole pitcher?
Boing, boing.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you planning on having any? Otherwise, she's gonna.
I have 2 goblets hanging
Oh,
off the side of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I said, well, I could share. Here's a nice fresh one hanging off the side. I have like a little clip where it hangs.
You guys
How
share
convenient.
some OJ for the trip. All right.
Yeah.
Just so you all are aware of the plan, I have not heard any updates since yesterday, so
Oh, bummer.
I think I'm going to head to the capital to plead the case myself. You're welcome to join me, or you can head to my home ahead of me. That's up to you.
Question.
Although I do think if I'm going over to the capital, it might be good to have a group. But I can go by myself.
You seem to know how to take care of yourself, but have you ever been where you've gone before?
To the capital?
Yeah.
No, but I have been somewhere that is close.
Ah.
Closer than we are now.
And the capital is on across the water.
Yes.
You have been around there. You
As
mentioned
I have
that.
said before, whenever we
You mentioned
arrived, that
Yeah.
I'm not from Ethazera, but I have
You've been there. Yes, you did mention it. Have you run into some of the wildlife over there?
occasionally.
Was it hostile at times?
Depends on where you are.
No.
If you're going where we're going, no.
Ooh, that sounds good. Oh. Well, Kindred, what
What
say you
now?
when it comes to our destination?
I say let's go for it.
Go to the capital or
Yes.
investigate the homeland closer to where
Oh wait, no.
Raylog is
I
from?
wanna do the investigating. I want the new thing, not the old thing. When in doubt.
Everything.
I
Both
want
of
the
these
new
are new.
Well, I prefer the exploratory.
Both
Not
of
the
them are
let's go back.
exploratory.
Not the
Not
political one.
Not the let's go back to the place we already been to like 4 or 5 times.
Okay. So you don't want to
Let's
go in front
somewhere new.
of dignitaries.
Tara is so sick of going to the people in charge.
So you'd rather go to the woods.
Yes, into the woods.
Danger. And bygones? Do you want more political intrigue, or do you wish to be closer to your homeland and see what's going on?
It won't be, you guys won't necessarily have to meet with the king, but you guys can do your own exploring and whatnot while she's there pleading her case, unless you
Kill
want
some
to be
monsters.
more directly involved, but that's up to you.
That was kind of dicey. Yeah. And we got the ball rolling, but it's a slow ball.
But this also gets you over there.
So do you
So
want?
you've at least been over there. So if you ever want to go there again,
You've been there.
you've been there.
Okay.
Huh? Hey, I mean,
No,
you
it's a
guys
good
decide
thought.
what you want to
You
do.
know, I didn't really think about that for the future, but we can say we've been there. It might give us access in the future, especially if the word teleport hits.
The guy with the little legs is very interested in this.
I can go separate if you want. You don't have to waste your time just because you want to you set foot on a different continent.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then you could just take us back to anywhere where that little stone can take you.
No, that only goes one way.
Well, yeah, but once we get there, she can go the direction of the gate.
I don't know.
Oh, you just want me to take you back.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, you can take us back.
Yeah, I could do that literally today.
Yeah, you can. But we'd be 2 days out from where we are now. So
More than that. Because you would
Not
you
my
use the
map.
recall stone, you end up going back to Morningdale, which is a week
Yeah,
away.
it'd be 7 days south of here.
Yeah,
is that 7 days?
that's a week. You guys traveled down. That's like a week.
Okay.
Unless you had someone that could TP up, which is how she got back.
Yeah. Well, I guess Galderdale there.
But you could also see about going to the capital and see if there's someone that could TP back to Kings Harbor, which most likely there is.
Because they're high level. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's go see the king, everyone. On Aslan.
Okay.
I mean, you could literally go to the temple and make sure that she gets there fine,
Yeah.
and then come back
We'll
and
escort,
then
yeah.
see if there's a way to get up to the
We've seen her this
forest. And you've met her, so you can message her as well to say, "Hey, can you swing by the tree here to take us to your home?"
Which reminds me of the question.
What
Who
question?
gave me that stone? I have a sending stone also. The question.
So does Sybil. Sybil hung on to the original one that Isaac gave you.
Yes. I have a sending stone also.
Mm-hmm.
Who gave me that?
I believe.
Which priest? Was that
I think it was Ingrid. I think it was either Ingrid or Isaac that gave it to
when
you.
I was at?
Because you guys were going to be leaving. Oh, you guys were going to be leaving to go to Burkton, and you went by the temple to get something or whatever.
That's
And
right.
whenever you guys left, the cleric came out and was like, "Oh, by the way, I was told to give this to you."
You're right. That's right. Because then that's when I was experimenting. to
Because
see who I
you
could talk
guys
to
were
or
going to be going your own way, and
Yeah.
Isaac and
Okay.
Sybil were going to be going theirs. So
Okay. That clears up a lot. Okay. Well then Miss Galandra, we will follow you.
she reaches out, and you see
Take pictures.
green start forming around her hand, and then you see the wood start to break open on the tree, and you can hear it's standing this close. It's super loud, and this is probably the sound that you guys heard that sounded like thunder, because it just sounds like a tree being sundered. It's just. And it opens up into a doorway that's about 8 feet tall. No,
That's
but
too bad.
it opens up, and then it
I
just
should go for a cookie.
proceeds into
The
what's
door would be smaller.
it seems to just narrow down into infinite blackness. Why is it dark?
It never.
And it just like, even though the sun is out and everything, it just goes dark as it goes in. And she keeps her hand on the tree and she says, "All right, go through. We only have a few moments."
The elf can be okay with this.
Okay, I'll stay close.
Okay, Torvine goes through.
I go through next.
Kara.
Bygones will go.
Vygon's got a duck.
Yep.
Okay. As you guys go through, you guys feel just like it is a rush of just like being. It's almost like you're on standing on something, and it is just moving at hypersonic speed, and the wind is just like that kind of feeling of just
But
like
it's still
being
black?
pinned to your back. Yes, it's just black, and you guys, it's just like standing still and just having a rush of being just shoved forward at an immense speed, and then you come through, stumble, and you're walking out of this massive looking tree somewhere that you've never been. And Torvine, you stumble forward.
I'm coming, Ginger.
And Kara next, and kind of almost stumbles over Torvine, and then the Vigons
What's your noise?
over top of Kara, and then slowly
That was-
proceeding
wasn't-
out comes Galandra after you, just
That felt on purpose.
casually walking.
Wow, that probably
Each of you,
takes some
I
getting
need
used
you
to it.
to make a con save.
Oh, you want to see a sweet throw?
Both of the Vigons.
Con
or-
save.
I need to do one?
You with a -4 because you just drank orange juice.
When you say both of you, are you saying both Vigons, or do you mean me too?
Everybody needs to.
Okay. All right.
But he's doing with a -4 because he just drank orange juice.
I rolled a 12. Because of that, I needed an 11.
So you rolled over.
I rolled one over
Alright.
because of that minus.
Con saves, everyone.
That's the same as the check number, right? It's
Yes,
forward.
yeah, you just want to roll below it.
I made it.
Raylog passed.
Other?
Yes, she passed. She
Okay.
got a 4.
So Torvine comes out, and it's just like, whoa, and then Kara, doom, 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 and then the Vigons, doom, doom, and then Torvine's kind of like, and Galandra comes out and is like, oh, I'm sorry, I probably should have warned you. The first time is always the worst if you've never done travel like that before.
Especially after
And she
talking.
comes over and just kind of like pats you on the back, and it's like, it's all right, just let it, it'll pass. It'll pass.
Yeah, it's
It'll
the
pass.
parts of my nose.
All right.
Get Torbine's like, let's do that again. Like dash after the motorhome roll all those times.
That was awesome. Let's do it again.
Maybe on the way back.
Let's see here. I gotta find this. You guys look around you and you see that you are. It almost seems like you are. You know how, like, for a mine and whatnot, there's, or a quarry, there's, the ground and whatnot on the top, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of sinks down into a hole.
On
And
the
there's-
sinkhole. Right?
Yeah. It seems like you're in a lower part, almost like that. But then, as you look around, there's ledges that kind of go like steps
Terrace.
up.
That's
And
where the
you are
slaves
at
were.
the foot of a massive tree, similar in size to what you just went through at the guild grounds.
That's
A little bit
exact
bigger.
same-
A little bit bigger. Looks like the same type of tree.
That's what I meant.
You see on these ledges there are different types of huts. What we would consider almost like when you go over into the bush. I don't know, like in Africa, just like the hay and things like that on the top.
Yeah, thatch.
Yeah,
Thatch.
yep, thatch roof, things like
Hut
that.
on the side.
The weather here is very humid, like you are in the tropics.
Gonna take the curls out of my bark.
And you see various different types of individuals going about their daily lives as you come through, although they all kind of stop as you all stumble through because none of them have seen you before.
Race of individuals.
You have a variety of different types of elves, from moon elves, wood elves, high elves, half elves, humans, halflings, gnomes, a
Mixed
variety.
breeds.
Yes, it's very mixed in
Okay.
here.
Alright.
Everybody seems happy about it. That's it.
And you can see
On the outside.
from where you are facing, where you are down in the ground, there's a path, like 20, 25 feet across, that leads up through where the steps are that go up, that kind of go up through the center and lead up at a slow slope. Welcome to Eden Grove. You are now on Ifazera. Now, we're gonna have to find my friend Reuven. He owes Reuven.
Oh,
He owes me a favor, and he's the only one that's been over that I know of that's been over close to the capital, unless we feel like walking the whole way, which would take some time that I really don't feel like putting in.
I agree.
So,
This is Ethazera.
yes,
Spell, please.
EA
EA Sport.
F. I believe it's EZ.
you're like,
Sound-
did
doesn't
not
sound
I-
easy to
I-
me.
make this.
Doesn't sound
Oh,
easy.
okay. EAFA. Sorry.
Okay.
ZERA.
Coming back to me. He did that.
That's yeah. You okay. Counting.
Figured we'd need a way to get him to this other place like this.
Eden Grove is the name of the town.
No. Is it place?
It's a district.
No.
The place.
No.
Restaurant.
Very similar. I guess you could say this is Ifazera's version of the Living Tree Forest. Only it is not a forest. As you look around, the various steps, you notice on the very outside of the last step that you see that there are these tall rock croppings that come up that, if you can imagine, like very tall, like, is it stalactites that are from the
Tights
floor?
go up.
Tights are on the top and the mites are on
Mites,
the bottom.
because they
Stalagmite.
might. Yeah.
So it looks like
Mites
just
going up.
giant stalagmites that have come up from the ground and go up like hundreds of feet in the air.
Oh, big termite nest.
But they're not dark. They are actually like a green color, like a leaf color ish. But they go all the way around from where this ramp goes up and disappears to. They come to there and then it goes all the way around.
Like fencing.
Yes. But they're just giant stalagmites going up pretty much.
Are they fuzzy or are they literally looking like green rock?
It's like green rock.
Okay, all right, so they're not fuzzy.
No.
I was thinking humid and mossy, Okay.
But as Galandra comes through, everybody that's kind of staring at you kind of goes about their business as they see her as someone that is dressed more commonly to what they're used to. So they trust that.
Justifies us.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
All right. Let's go find my friend so that we can get on our way.
Let's do that.
All right. So you guys, you want to grab me a drink too?
I don't know what kind of drink you want.
I want this drink.
The blue dude.
Yeah, you have it.
All right. So you guys, she leads you up the ramp. As there are also other ways to go up through the steps as well. They have anything from wooden ladders to like rope ladders at various different sections along the steps to go up to each level. But she leads you up to the second level and leads you along the left side. Eventually comes to a hovel, knocks on the door. Yes? Who is it?
No more well wishers.
Roven, it's me. Who else would be knocking at your door? You know you don't have anybody else that checks up on you. Well, that's not true. I have friends. Ish.
Don't touch.
Okay.
When I hear
Don't stand outside. Just come in. I'm not alone. Galandra, who did you bring with you? You didn't bring the elder, did you? I really don't feel like I didn't do anything. I swear, it's not anybody from the grove. It's not. It's. Would you just come out here, please? Kind of like quiet for a little bit, and then eventually the door opens, and you guys see a elf standing before you with darker skin, similar to what you guys
At
have
the restaurant.
encountered before. However, walking up through, you guys have not seen anyone
Until now.
looking like this until now. Hi, I'm Reuven. But I hope that Galandra has only said, what are you doing here?
Reuben.
Reuven.
Oh, Reuven, not Reuben.
Pretty much Reuben, but
Like the
V
sandwich?
is, yeah. Instead of a B, it's a V. You're welcome. This is where I get my joy in life.
you can tell.
Yeah, my spell corrector is like going nuts about it.
He's like the mayor.
No, he's just a friend.
He's just
of
a dwarf.
Galandra.
And he lives in a hovel.
Well, I don't know how else to.
Almost everyone lives in the
I don't know how. Like, it's like everybody else, like the thatched roof and everything. It's not.
Like all the witch
How else
doctors.
should I say?
That's fine.
Describe it.
A hut.
A hut. Okay, yeah. A
Like
hut.
Jabba.
When
the
you
hut.
said hovel, I thought of something else.
What did you think of?
A hobbit hole?
Okay. No, not quite that. No.
That's too lavish.
It's like a hovel or a hole?
Okay.
And
Who are you?
We are
I know
kindred.
Galandra, but I don't know you.
We are known as the group Kindred.
Oh, that's a nice name.
Thank you.
You don't
And,
want any
oh
magazines.
my goodness, you are some tall folk. Hi, haven't seen one of your kind in Galandra, are you sure? Then it's fine. They're with me. They're not gonna do. Okay. Hi. He is very timid with the bygones being there.
Intimidate. Yeah, I'm looking around his hovel or whatever you want to call it, and I want to make sure there's no symbols around there that could cause a Vigon to have pain.
No. Although you will notice that the symbol that individuals are wearing here is different than what Galandra has on her.
There's a crown,
No,
No.
this one is just a leaf.
a leaf.
Yeah.
Okay.
A leaf in the center,
Okay, so
which is different than the tree that she has.
all right. Okay, so they're part of the fellowship. Then.
No, a little different of a leaf.
From maple.
No, it's one of the. It's the one.
Poison ivy?
It's a longer leaf that kind of like it starts smaller and then it gets
Stalky.
bigger. It has a round top to it. I can't think of what tree it's from. I'll think of it, but yeah, it has like a little stem that, and then it starts off smaller and then it just gets bigger as it goes up.
Okay.
Round top to it. I can't think of what it's
Okay.
called.
Sort of like a
Whack
spade.
walnut.
Sort of like a spade dish. Elongated on the bottom, but ends up like a spade.
It's more like almost like a squash, I guess you could say. Like it's just like that small. and like
yeah, that's
bigger.
very dignified. Okay, all right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
How else to
A
explain it.
rainforest kind of leaf.
Sure.
Okay.
But he has that on his clothes. He has like somewhere on his garments. He has like that insignia
Okay.
and whatnot. along with most of the other people. You will notice that this hut is pretty isolated from other huts. That most of them are.
I'm used to people like that lately.
Most of the other huts are, pretty close together. And
Does he have stuff laying around, like ingredients and stuff like that? It's a very picked up, ordinary looking
No,
thing.
I mean it's not like super clean, but at the same time, like
He doesn't have unique things sitting out compared to,
not really.
like he has a bad hobby.
No. All right. So, what is it that you need, Galandra? You only come to talk. Ruben, don't just come to you whenever I need a favor or whenever there's a problem. Well, that's funny. I only remember it in that way. I don't see you ever coming around just to chit chat. Okay, Ruben. What's going to be this time? If I have to bring you some kind of. You can just bring me the usual. It'll be fine. Okay. Where do you need to go this time? Well, we're trying to get to the capital. If that would be, helpful, if you could take us there as close as you could get us there. Okay. When? Now would be a good time. As any.
I'm not gonna throw up again, am I?
Galandra kind of, well, I
As he
mean,
sniffs a
it gets better the more that you do it, so. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Let me just get into something a little less than just comfy home clothes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he's wearing like a robe, basically.
Oh, that's reassuring.
And he's like, okay, and shuts the door, comes back a few minutes later, and has a get up similar to what hers is. Okay, where are we going? The capital? Right. You guys head back down to the center by the big tree. Well, as you're going down, the closest I can get you there is probably Cloverden. That's the only one I've been to that's been close to the capital. It's a good 2-day trek probably to the capital. So, okay, yeah, that'll work. I mean, it's better than walking from here. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. So you guys get down to the tree, and he does something similar to what she does in the
Crickety crack.
Yep, the bark opens up, and there is a portal in front of you.
Clover Dunn?
Cloverdon.
Ah, I knew it. D-O-N. Yes.
Yep.
2 days out from the capital.
Yep.
How many
Portal's
days
there.
are we away right now?
You guys are like on the opposite side of the continent, like on the left side, and you need to be on the right side.
Oh, we're off the radar. Okay.
I don't. You guys don't have a map of either there, do you?
I don't think you gave us one. I would remember it because we wouldn't
Okay.
ask for spelling. We had it.
Yeah, we'll just wait for an expanded
I
one
will
of
give
where we are.
you a map if
I can
Kevin
go-
wants to go and make copies, or
Yeah,
Marie, or
I
whoever
can.
wants to.
Don't put it in the shredder. How long have you had
Is
this?
it
this
Clover
map?
Den
A
or
while.
Clover Den?
We were supposed to be here 4 levels ago, just like you guys know.
No.
I was like, I don't know why I have two there for some reason.
All right, then we will enter before it closes.
Okay. Go through and again rush as you guys step through and appear on the outskirts through a regular sized tree on the outskirts
Right, small.
of a village.
Clover Dunn.
And I had it here somewhere. I don't know where it went. That is not what I need.
I get that a lot.
Nope. 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 Okay, where did I put it? Too many things moving around. Ah, there we go. I'll wait until she comes back so I can explain where you guys are going. And where you popped in at.
Can you tell me if it's spelled Cloverdin or Cloverdin?
Cloverdon. D-O-N.
And was I still getting the prices that were for the scales and the teeth that were from that?
Yes,
piece?
did you need that? I can't remember if I gave that to you.
No, you did not get that. You said next time we get together, you will have that. This happens to be that time.
How many pounds of scales did you have?
200.
For 50 pounds, it would be. Okay.
This for exotic.
Yes. Well, this is for you to basically. I need you to do a persuasion check for me to persuade the person that you are trying to sell this to that this is an super exotic, like dragon
okay.
scale or something like that. If that's the way you're going, otherwise.
Well, yeah, it would be. So that's a 5.
Okay. 4,500.
I need
4,500 gold pieces per 50 pounds. So that would be 4,500
times 4.
times 4.
18.
Plus 20. 18.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, I guess it's 18. So 18,000 for the scales
Yes.
and the teeth.
It would be like a couple hundred per tooth.
Okay, because yeah, they would tune it down to weapons. All right, well, that was 12 teeth
So we'll say 200
a piece.
per tooth.
Okay.
You have how many?
12.
12.
I mean, 2,400.
So total.
All right, so it's
20,400.
20,400. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, you guys popping in, Eden Grove is down here. With the giant tree and the green rocks around
In the wild.
and the wild lands.
Okay, so it's the southwest.
Okay, down here.
Okay, yeah.
Kingsford is the capital, which is over on the right-hand side. So if you basically go up a little
Oh,
bit
I see,
to
across
the
the
other
river.
side, yep.
And it's at the end of that.
You're essentially would be traveling almost as much as you would be going to from Kings Harbor to
the east.
the Living
Yeah.
Tree Forest, essentially. But you are getting transported basically midway between Grushire and Kingsford, which Grushire is that little town right above Kingsford.
Okay.
So you're popping in like midway.
Cloverdun is where?
Midway between Kingsford and Grushire. Grushire is that little town right above Kingsford.
Oh, is that Grushire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could read that. Okay. So it's north of it. Okay.
Yes, you'll be a little bit north of Kingsford.
Alright.
Cloverdale. Here's a map for y'all.
Good.
You guys will be popping in on the outskirts over here.
Okay, southwest.
Yep. A couple hundred feet from the town.
On the left? Over
Down here.
Oh, down here. We could do con saves.
I didn't drink any.
Only Torvine. Since he failed the last one.
11, round the button.
Alright.
If you
Throw
did
up.
the -4, I don't have
No,
-4.
no.
Oh, I needed a 50.
You got that out of your system.
Okay,
so
alright.
This was just a straight roll.
Okay.
Yeah, literally got it out of your system.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
Like you literally just drank orange juice and then it's just like
Okay. Going through the Stargate.
Drink a
Pretty much.
whole pitcher.
yeah.
Well, if I had friends that would drink a little more, I wouldn't affect them.
You need to hydrate.
Yeah, then I dehydrated. It's a vicious cycle. Is that Mountain Doom in the top middle?
Not quite. It does say there what it is though.
I can't. It's for young guys.
The Angry Mountain.
Angry Mountain.
Why can't it be the Joyful Mountain? It just keeps giving.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send that picture
It sacrifices
to
daily.
Kim so she has it where you guys are at Cloverden. All right. So you guys all go through the portal, and Reuven says, "Okay, well, I'm officially tapped for the day, so it looks like I'm gonna have to wait here for the night to go home. But hey, that's okay. I'm not gonna be, nitpicky about not being able to spend the night in my own bed.
What a guy.
Since this is for a friend." Galandra's like, "You are a gentleman, Reuven. I appreciate it. And what are friends for but to say, I owe you one, and let me know the next time you need something. Although I'm sure that the usual will usually suffice with for a thank you." Yes. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to find the inn, and I'm going to relax. If that's not too much to ask. Unless you have something else that you want me to, help you with, Galandra. So go somewhere else, perhaps? No, I think you've done quite well, and you've done quite enough. Thank you. Okay. And he just kind of makes his way towards the gate and into the village of Cloverden.
Okay. And what time of day is this?
Well, you guys left like first
It was in the
thing,
morning.
so
Yeah, so it,
you haven't spent a whole lot of time. It's maybe been
okay.
maybe an hour with the
So it's like
getting to the tree in the
9 in the
morning,
morning?
and then going up to Reuven's house, and then
Okay.
So
Well, Galandra, shall we start on our trek to the big city?
I'm down for it. Unless you all need to stop in to grab some supplies or whatever. I don't know what you brought for the journey.
No, we still have our basic food that we usually have, and we have potions.
Okay.
I'm good on PowerPoint. I don't know why anyone else need PowerPoint.
I got healing potions.
All right. So, a day into travel. All right. Nice sunny day. No thunderstorms on the horizon or anything like that.
Yeah.
Let me look at the map here so I don't. As you guys get like a couple miles out from Cloverden, you notice that the trees kind of disappear.
More like grassland.
And now you're more in like the plains and things like that. And now entered the wild plains.
Can we look around and make sure to look at wildlife?
Certainly.
Flying creatures?
Where are you doing this just now, or would you have liked to look around
I
a little bit before you
always
left
be-
Eden Grove?
Yeah, as we're walking, leaving Cloverdun, I think we would be curious of our surroundings.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sure she knows a little something, and she said in this area it was fairly docile.
Where you guys were.
Were, now where we're going.
Okay.
Did you see by the dark colors?
She meant Eden Grove.
Does she have any insight for us before we go for this walk as we're starting to leave Cloverdun? She knows she can handle herself, so she doesn't have to tell us. Look
just
out for
be
the.
on alert, just like you would if you were traveling in Paxless. I mean, you know, these
Oh.
roads are traveled, but that doesn't mean that things can't happen or jump out on.
So be
jump
paranoid.
out at you.
Okay. All right. I would like to observe nature as we're walking and seeing what's flying possibly and what's lurking around trees.
Okay. We will get into your guys' traveling and whatnot. We'll just jump into that next time because it's getting close to 5:30. That's when we usually end. So you guys pretty much got to where I wanted you guys to get to. So
That's
or
good.
where I planned you guys to get to.
It's our fault.
Yeah.
So
Plus, if we make the video